Y'all ready back there? Y'all ready? Hallelujah.
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 Praise the mighty Yah.
Praise the mighty God.
Yah is righteous. Yah is holy.
Yah is holy.
We want to welcome everybody back to our from our lunch break here at our holy convocation, and we're going to start our services back, the second portion of our service. The scripture says, "When thou hast eaten and thou art full, then shalt thou praise Yah." And what this is doing, this is teaching us discipline, so that once we have eaten and we are full, that we don't forget the Most High. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Adonai Siftai Tifta Dufiyadi Tehelatecha Baruch Atah Yah Eloheinu wa Elohei Avotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak wa Elohei Yaakov Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor wa Hanora El Elyon. Giving all honor and praise to you, O great King, the power of our forefathers, the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob. The great, mighty, and revered one, the Most High, maker, owner, and possessor of all things and everything. Heavenly Father, we humbly come before you, asking for your love, your kindness, and your understanding. Asking you to forgive us of our sins and the sins of our forefathers, O great King, so that when we stand before you, we stand before you cleansed. Heavenly Father, allow us to magnify, glorify, and make your name known in this world, O great King. Please, Father, give us the opportunity to do so, O great King. Allow us to be your servants, O Heavenly Father, and do your will, O Heavenly Father. Please, Father, be with those who are amongst us, O great King, that may be ill, O great King, those that are incarcerated, O Heavenly Father, and speedily deliver them, O great King, because you are our all in all, and it is in your power to do so as you choose, O great King. Continue to guide, shield, and protect us all, O great King, our children and our young ones, O great King. Bring them, allow them to go out in peace and come back home in peace throughout the course of the week, O Heavenly Father. We pray unto you, O Heavenly Father, because you are our all in all, and beside you there is no King, O Heavenly Father. We ask, O great King, that you continue to bless us with knowledge of your Torah, knowledge of your law, O great King, and instill your law in our hearts, O great King, so that we sway not to the left nor to the right, but pursue the path of perfection, O Heavenly Father. Thanking you, O great King, for choosing us from among all people to give your Torah to, O Heavenly Father. Thank you for choosing us to give us knowledge of who we are, O Heavenly Father, because there are so many people in this world that do not understand, O great King. Thank you, Father, for your abundant mercy and kindness, O great King, for you are our all in all, and again, O great King, beside you there is no other. Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
Praise the mighty Yah.
Yah is righteous.
All the time. Hallelujah.
All right. So we are going to start with our performances and our praises to the mighty Yah. So let us all be prepared to serve Yah with all our heart, soul, and might. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
We're going to get the kids. First, let me give all praises to the creator of the heavens, the earth, the sea, and all that is within them by saying hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
First, I'm going to do one of my poems, since we're talking about love. And I really need to put it out there and let everybody know that just because you're not up on the podium teaching, we still teaching. Every one of us in here are teachers.
Yes, ma'am.
When you talk to your friends or anybody you talk to about the Most High, you're being a teacher. You are a watchman just as well as our berets and stuff here. You know, Yahweh is the boss. That's the boss man. We just supposed to be doing what he told us to do, is be a light to the people.
Hallelujah.
And the way you can do that is by keeping his laws, commandments, and statutes. So I want to share my poem on what is love, since we've been talking about it. Maestro. Libra. He ain't gonna do it. Okay, well, I just do it like this. What is love? Love is the times that we share, even the hard ones that we bear. Conquering everything through thick and thin, trying to last until the end. Conversating, understanding each other's problems, being that strong backbone, helping one another solve them. What is love? It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. it would either make it hard to say goodbye. But when it's sincere, coming straight from the heart, please hold on tight and play it smart. Yah has blessed us all with so many times around. So please wake up, because sincere, true love is hard to be found. Hallelujah. Ain't no love like the love from the Most High, I'm telling you. Now, before we get this party started, I want to ask everybody to please stand. We're not going to do the circle thing because there's so many of us. But if we could just stand and you could just hold hands with the people next to you. Y'all ready? Yeah, just make up the best you can. Okay. I need you. You need me. We are a part of Yah's body. Stand with me. Agree with me. We are a part of Yah's body. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. I'm gonna say it one more time, y'all. 'Cause I need you and you need me. We are a part of Yah's body. Stand with me. Agree with me. We are a part of Yah's body. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. I love you, Israel. And just always remember that Yah loves all of us. Hallelujah.
All right, we want to have our performers be timely. We don't want gaps, 5 minute gaps. Where's Brother Harry at? Are you in there? We know who next? All right, whoever next after her, can we please have people, no sound?
Acapella, that's good. We can do it.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, family.
Acapella. New York style, acapella.
Did I forget to thank Yahweh this morning? Did I get my own self out of bed? Did I forget to thank Yahweh for this day? If I did, then I'm not myself. Yahweh's name is not a reproach unto me. It's to be praised every day, continually. Did I forget to thank Yahweh for this day? If I did, my whole day's in vain. Yahweh woke us up this morning, and I'm glad. I'm glad. Oh, I'm so glad. Yahweh woke us up this morning, and I'm glad. Oh, I'm so glad to be alive. You know Yah's name is not a reproach unto me. is to be praised every day, continually. Did I forget to thank Yahweh for this day? If I did my whole day in vain, did I forget to thank Yahweh this morning? Did I forget to thank Yahweh this morning? If I did my whole day in vain. Hallelujah.
It ain't you, it's them in the back. We gonna see. I will ask them, hey, are we going a cappella? They got your music? Okay.
Check.
They get you together. They got your
Just
music?
bear with us. They getting that music together. We'll be
Hallelujah.
right back with y'all. Shabbat shalom.
Shalom, family. How your day?
Hope everybody's doing fine.
Yeah.
Loving Israel.
Yeah.
Loving the Most High. They getting it together.
Yep. That's you. Is that it?
No.
That ain't it?
He has it on his phone. There I go, sweating.
No, we good.
These highlights.
Yeah, I know.
Praise the
That's
Lord.
the spotlight right there. You in it. You in the spotlight. Yeah. Can't let them see you sweat, man. Can't let them see you sweat.
Me don't wanna hustle no more, 'cause I know what's in store. Me don't wanna hustle no more, 'cause Babylon, I don't wanna live that life no more. Me don't wanna hustle no more, 'cause I know what's in store.
you go.
Me don't wanna hustle no more, 'cause Babylon, I don't wanna live that life no more. Living in the ghetto and my life no easy. Every morning me have to find some money. Feed me, feed me Pekingese. Like look out to Kia and look out terrorists. Me coming up on this see me police chase after me. Me coming up on this see me happy fight to be free. Send up for them people they gon' talk about me. But this I am man don't speak about reality. Hustle no more, 'cause I know what's in store. You don't wanna hustle no more, 'cause Babylon, I don't wanna live that life no more. Me don't wanna hustle no more, 'cause I know what's in store. Me don't wanna hustle no more, 'cause Babylon, I don't wanna live that life no more. Me have to ask the Most High to bless me. I know that only Yah can save me. I tell you, Satan, let go me on. Me not want no more of your temptation. Stay out me face, you a big disgrace. Me rather have Yah come take over your space. Me know that you're wicked and me know that you're wrong. So come back to hell and leave. This man a la 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 la. Me don't wanna hustle no more, 'cause
Hallelujah.
I know what's in store. Me don't wanna hustle no more,
Praise God.
'cause Babylon, I don't wanna live that life no more. Me don't wanna hustle no more, 'cause I know what's in store. They don't wanna hustle no more. Cause Babylon, I don't wanna live that life no more. Living in the ghetto and me life no easy. Every morning me have to find some money. Feed me Pekingese like local Turkey and local Terry's. Me coming up on this thing, me post. Easy.
All right now.
Praises. All
Hallelujah.
praise.
Hallelujah.
We wanna hustle no more.
Yes.
Hey. Praise God. Put it on Yaka Hill. Shabbat shalom, y'all.
Shalom, family.
It's beautiful to be here.
Hallelujah.
Y'all looking good.
You too, sis.
Thank you. Got me feeling good now.
Praise God.
Praise God. We all should be feeling good.
Yeah,
I
hallelujah.
don't know why we not smiling, so everybody just put a big smile on your face right now.
Yeah.
And let's just, there we go.
Smiles
Let me see
are-
all the teeth in the back.
Smiles are contagious.
Listen next.
Y'all heal. Oh yeah, we got backup.
No. You ain't got
Backup
that.
thing is okay then.
We gonna do Wake Up Jacob, yeah. Can you start that over? Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Turn it up for me. Y'all can kill your life. Open up your eyes to make you realize that it's only y'all can kill your life. It's my life. My demons are calling my name. It feels like I'm dying inside. My heart tells me I need to change, and all I have to do is try. With so many issues, I know I'ma miss you. I don't know why. So how do I let go? Y'all can heal your life. wake up the dead Jacob, for the time is coming. We've been eating in the views, while people being brainwashed, ways up confused. Oh, we gotta wake up, wake up the dead Jacob, for the time is coming. God put us here because we don't listen, and I tell you to be disobedient, then we'll be on our lesson. Oh, we're missing our goal, don't take it for granted. The things that's been implanted in our mind and heart, and now we should never be hard. That's how we take the struggle, so we gotta keep our spirits humble and wake up. Wake up the dead Jacob, for the time is coming. You're running away, you away from the truth. You gotta realize we got work to do. We gotta wake up the dead Jacob, for the time is coming. Yeah, it's time to know we are his people, so we must unite and grow. We gotta wake up the dead Jacob, for the time is coming. He is my king, my savior and my judge, and I walk by his side with love. So for y'all I won't budge, won't budge. Say for y'all I won't budge, no. He put us here to let us know we only serve him, so all the deities must go, go, go. For 400 years we lost his trust. He's coming back for us, so we gotta tighten up. Oh, we gotta tighten up. It's almost that time for Jacob's struggle, so we gotta keep our spirits humble and wake up. Wake up the dead Jacob, for the time is coming. You're running away, you hide from the truth. You gotta realize we got work to do. We gotta wake up the dead Jacob, for the time is coming. We must wake our people up in God's name. Wake them up, 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 up. We must wake our people up in God's name. Wake them up, 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 up. We must wake our people up in God's name. Wake them up, 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 up. We must wake our people up in God's name. Wake them up, 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 up. We must wake our people up in God's name. Wake them up, 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 up. Praise the mighty God.
Who's next?
We let the song play if anybody coming up. I'm share one message with everybody. I'm just sharing this with you. Israel, it's been a long time coming, and now it's time to seek God's face. I'm talking about the everlasting covenants and the feasts that we keep. Desire to keep the law, don't you wish to stay asleep? Be strong, keep God's law, stand bold in His covenant. If you bless, you might become a part of His remnant. Shake that weak spirit and become a militant. And never forsake Yah and His word. Israel, don't be a fool. Yahweh Elohim will always rule. Shake that weak spirit, serve Yah with all your heart. Trust in Yah, never forsake Yah and His word. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. I'll take my
Praise Maria. Who's coming up next? Elders coming. Praise Maria. Give a round of applause for the elder.
Shalom again, Israel. Before we sing the songs, I just want to do this little bit of thing that I do every day for us as a people, without any music. And it's, Oh, Heavenly Father. Oh, 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 Heavenly Father, Holy One of Israel, please hear my plea and save us from ourselves. We know you're the only Savior, Redeemer and Elohim. Oh, Heavenly Father, we're sorry for doing our own thing. Oh, 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 oh. I wore this outfit for Hezekiah. I wore it to Alicia's funeral, and Hezekiah said, I love that outfit. It's wearing twin shoes, almost 50 years old. The skirt about 47 years old. The top maybe about 38 years old. And she said she loved the hat maybe about 70 years old. And I wore it, and she said, I love it, and I wore it just for her.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Plus said, yeah. It's not on.
It's the wrong album?
Yeah, wrong CD. They said go without the music. I said, wait a minute, Almighty blessed me to write over 800 songs. I can't even know all them songs. I'm old.
It's real. Performance Center. It's time to get on track. Cry out to our brothers and sisters. The knowledge is help they lack. We got shout from the rooftops. Yahweh ain't the only way. He alone has the power to save.
To the west,
I'm going to the east.
I'm going to keep on witnessing of God's word until we break through. The stiff-necked, stony hearts, rebellious minded Hebrews. Keep them legs moving, we've got a job to do. To the north,
I'm going to the south.
I'm going to put one foot in front of the other, let the old man see you through.
To the west, to the west, to the west, to the west, to the west.
We coming through.
To the east, to the east, to the east, to the east, to the east.
Get ready, Hebrews.
To the north, to the north, to the north, to the north, to the north.
We gonna do what we gotta do.
To the south, to the south, to the south, to the south, to the south.
We gonna see it through.
If we gotta rap our way through, we're gonna do what we gotta do.
If we gotta sing our way through, then we gonna do that too.
If we gotta find our way through, then that's what we gonna do.
Cause we're tired of being in this land, an astonishment and straight up fools.
To the west, to the west, to the west, to the west, to the west.
We coming through.
To the east, to the east, to the east, to the east, to the east.
Get ready, Hebrews.
To the north, to the north, to the north, to the north, to the north.
Gonna do what we gotta do.
To the south, to the south, to the south, to the south, to the south.
Gonna see it through.
Get that one.
Just get Yah, Israel is my son, even my firstborn.
Get that one.
For God is a holy people unto Yahweh Elohim. Yahweh Elohim has chosen me to be a special people unto himself above all people on the face of the earth.
Don't let that one get away.
I am God, and believe there is no Savior. Israel is attacking them fool and do what Yah told us to do. Let no other be scared and see and busy willing to do. Cause wickedness, stubbornness, and hardness, the one who called you to lose. Stop breaking your Yah law and do what we got to do.
We ain't no punks. We serve the Yah. Little message. We know who we are. It's only one way, and that's the way of Yah. Israel come together, and it's not that hard. To the west, to the west, to the west, to the west, to the west.
We coming through.
To the east, to the east, to the east, to the east, to the east.
Get ready, Hebrews.
To the north, to the north, to the north, to the north, to the north.
We gonna do what we gotta do.
To the south, to the south, to the south, to the south, to the south.
We gonna see it through.
We gonna do
What we gotta
do.
Hallelujah. Praise the mighty God. Hallelujah. We love you, Israel. on what is decent, holy and bona fide. But we can't do nothing unless Yah is on our side.
Hallelujah.
Israel, we can't do it without Yah. Cause no one can deliver out of Yah's hands unless Yah, we won't get far. It's not enough that the two of us want to take a stand. We need our brethren to join in and walk hand in hand.
What you gonna do when the lights goes off? Little job in the early bit. What you gonna do when the gas goes off? There's no assistance anywhere. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when the man takes hold of you? Israel return to Yah, and He'll see us through.
Return to Yah. That's all we gotta do. And He will turn our lives around and make our hearts anew. Let go of being wise in your own eyes and let God's word shine through. Yes, but God asked for so little. So what you gonna do?
What you gonna do when the lights goes off? Little jobs in the car is dead. What you gonna do when the gas goes off? There's no assistance anywhere. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when the man takes hold of you? Israel return to Yah, and He'll see you through.
Israel, we gotta turn from our foolish ways, cause there's a better way for us, so we'll stop going astray. Yah is all we need. Yah is all we need. We just walk His way. Come on, it's right now. Cause if we don't, you're gonna pay. Israel, we can't do it without Yah. Cause no one can deliver out of Yah's hands unless Yah, we won't get far. It's not enough that the two of us wanna take a stand. We need our brothers to join in and walk hand in hand. Return to Yah. That's all we gotta do. And He will turn our lives around and make our hearts anew. Let go of being wise in your own eyes and let God's word shine through. Israel, I asked for so little, so what you gonna do?
What you gonna do when the lights goes off? Little jobs in the car is dead. What you gonna do when the gas goes off? There's no assistance anywhere. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when the man takes hold of you? Israel return to Yah, and He will see you through.
Israel, we don't need Yah. We don't need Yah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Israel, what you gonna do? Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I love you, Israel.
We love
It's
you.
always wonderful to be surrounded by my brothers and sisters in Yah. I need you guys. I'm in Chicago working it. I've been working it since I was a Black Panther. My mother said I've been working since I was 5, but I've been working hard.
Hallelujah.
To help our people. And we need each other more than roses need rain.
Yes,
I love you, Israel.
Hallelujah.
Praise God.
Hallelujah.
Right, exactly.
Got you.
So praise Yah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. It's a very good day. It's been a very just different last couple of weeks. But I just praise Yah. I'm here. Even though I don't understand everything, you know what I'm saying? I just gotta fear Yahweh and keep His commandments.
Hallelujah.
Because that's the whole duty of man.
Yes, sir.
And it don't get no clearer than that.
Hallelujah.
So praise Yah. This song is a song I wrote for her. Definitely from the heart. And yeah, just praise Yah, man. Praise Yah for this song. And when I first heard the beat, I'm like, it straight up reminded me of her for some odd reason. But go ahead and play that.
I don't think it took a very long time myself. So,
The quality ain't the best right now, but
the right way, I don't think it's right.
it's all good.
Because please take it out, please take it out, please take it out.
Just lost another valiant soldier, first live hustle, this we heal. Right in the dust, find my DNA, it heals, self-regenerate. Something king take his place. Look into my brother, Samson gave his heart to strange lassos, deliver us, and I will bind in due time. Keep your patience, know this fire, it refines to a diamond. Our Lord, more I was so kind to this little boy. Memories, I'm telling you, her love, man, she execute. Militant division and blessings to her family. The boy keeps selling, cause this treasure just across the sea. It's your presence that we need. Open our reality. Prophesy we win it in our enemies. Not quitting all the murders, all the raping, all the hatred. Let the books be open and the judgment take its place. Infinite light, some shall awaken. Shame and contempt. He will sit if you not here. This the one will uplift me, yeah. But yeah. Primary light of the night, bringing forth my precious name. Years days on the morrow, I shall not fail. The ship with the canes and navigation. Joseph that he ordained, 717. Shekel soul that's a slave, trouble cut him from his family. Obedience of the light shall be ashamed when y'all reign through his king. Through his clock, 48 minutes to offset, not driven to worship. Divided by 12 foremothers of Israel, 3 fathers starting with Abraham. Time is of the essence, we've been craving in his palms, kiss not your hand. But the sun, pastels of blood staining the moon. Jacob's wife and his trouble shall feel it bloody. Man, image centripetal, using his purpose as nature remaining undisturbed unless he earns it. Watch it turn, watch it turn.
Hallelujah.
Sin in your lot like the way for the weary souls taken from the evil that approach. Time and chance happens to us all. I know your decrees to the lust and trust of our hearts. So speech a language where our voice is not revealed by your creation. Out the mud, I'm a claiming that's the water, so we dwell upon us with explosives like the clay on the mega fossil. Batteries away, balance in my soul with good and evil. I'm exhorted like the leader, that's a pain for your future purpose. When it's governmental purpose, abuse reporters, architect behind this divine science. Mirror reflection in my iris. Praise be the highest architect government. Can't touch it like the scriptures to be sealed to the time of the end. Let my son get the carrots and shine my him. With your exalted in the glory, dissipating the forum of heaven and the glory. That's your glory on me. You see what we meant to 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 me.
And he found a new job on the knife and put forth his hand and took it and slew not 600, 1,000 men therewith. 1,000 men therewith. Verse 16. And Samson said, what's the job on the land? Heaps upon heaps.
That's right.
All of the last have I slain 1,000 men.
That's right.
So, how you think his body was moving to slay 1,000 men?
Hallelujah.
Marks himself?
Tomorrow is the new moon. You will be missed.
So this life is
Tomorrow is the new moon. You will be missed.
But notice, it
Did you
says,
see what we meant to me? You see what we meant to me? You see what we meant to me? You see what we meant to me?
knocking somebody down, and then they shake it off, and then they get back up. So that's
That's right.
and kill them
Tell them.
so that they don't get back up
Tell them more
and
rock.
fight you again. So
We gonna miss you.
So, 3 hours.
Serving the Almighty God.
What kind of breathing system?
That's the last time y'all gonna hear it before my project come out.
How many blacksmiths can you have done?
Yeah. Yeah. Tomorrow is the new moon, and you will be missed. Tomorrow is the new moon, and you will be missed. Because your seat will be empty. Your seat will be empty. Your seat will be empty now. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Probably one of the greatest, but got this, but yeah, man. Shout out to my sacrifice, Samson, and all the martyrs that came before me after. Yeah. Seeking the occasion, second the Savior, born to praise God. What's the rebirth? I know from the birth to down the church. Come out of her, where your life will shut down the curtains. Switch to Levi, from the beehive. Commit work and you'll see God. Young baby God, here we are, moving pots and pans. Quicker than Sarah and Abraham. Making a roll, taking a toll. Honey, dip the way, cause don't mess with my kitchen, man. Cook it up and listen, man. He pouring the spirit, sipping, man. Talking his wisdom, zipping, man. From the heavens, he's spilling, man. Day in the day, he talking it right. Night unto night, perfect insight. Protect the deals in the spirit of mind. Keep the Christ strike. Travel down, uprise from the dust. We hit at night, grand night. The blessing bestowed when the angel met my folk tonight. Travel down, it's time to fight. This is holy for you. This is holy for you. With the way, pressing heat, shoulder, beware the way, beware serpentine, dragging in heat motor, sweltering, serving him on my belly end. This is holy for you. This is holy for you. This is holy for you. With the way, pressing heat, shoulder, beware the way, beware serpentine, dragging in heat motor. Praise God, holy for you. No razor on my head, I'm seeking occasion, no sipping wine, nothing from the vine. Voice breaks the dry, from the kernel to the must. Seeking occasion, let's turn these Philistines to dust. Hitting the crazy consecration on my head, baby. If the dead snug, 2 pigeons or 2 doves. One need lamp for burning 1%, 1 gram for peace. I need a basket of bread and that white pine flour. Mix with oil, pocket feet, let me take the coils of my head, place it on the fire, take the ram side and shoulder, and take out the basket, no slice of the wafer. Place it in the hands of the Nazareth, let the priest wave it, just how we asked us, just how we want it, wave it, like the judge told you, baby. This is holy for you, this is holy for you. Shoulder, beware the way, beware serpentine, dragging in, heat motor, sweltering, turn it up, Check. This is holy for you, this is holy for you, this is holy for you. With the way, pressing heat shoulder, beware the way, beware serpentine, you feel me? They ain't seen the Savior yet, but he on the way, boy. Better believe that.
Hallelujah.
He on blood.
Hallelujah.
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 Everything, man. Praise the Almighty Yahweh.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Rest in peace to all the deceased.
Hallelujah.
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 You performing today?
Cordless mic.
Just pass it. Just pass it back before we work on that. Yeah.
Let me say something before y'all push play. Don't do that again. But no, Hezekiah was a dear, dear friend. When I came in this class, she was the age that I am now. And I remember I had scripture questions and they said, go to Hezekiah. She wasn't a moron in, but everybody knew who to send people to. And
she one thing that has not been mentioned yet is her prison ministry. I want somebody to go into that and teach people what she was doing. She was going in and out of these prisons, things that men ain't doing, you know. And she taught me everything. She taught me everything, you know. We got big shoes to fill, ladies.
Yes, we do.
You know, I literally walked in her shadow. We did everything, you know, and anytime any of us had, me or her had scripture issues, we called each other. And when she passed, that was the first thing I knew that I was gonna miss. So I need y'all to get in y'all book, because my questions be real.
Yeah.
And we have to get in our book. We got to feel her shoes. She did so much.
Yes.
And it would be a shame for us to have known her and let all of the work that she did fall by the wayside. She was a teacher. She was a friend. Every time we had an event, we knew who held it down, you know, along with some of the other sisters in here. Tamar, Nina, all of them. When I came in, they held it down and they took my 18-year-old self, Jayla, Jessica, when she was not being mean. They took us and they showed us how to be women and how to treat guests and how to be kind and how to show y'all's love. She was a singer. We got a lot that we have to feel. And if you honor her, you would not let none of that, just like how they said about Nipsey Hussle, the marathon continues. That got to be the same way with the marathon for the Most High.
Hallelujah.
It has to continue. We cannot let any of her works fall by the wayside, or it would be a shame not only to us, but we would be bringing about a real disservice to the Creator's name.
Yes.
And I just had to get that off my chest and say that.
Thank you,
because
sister.
that song, I heard her voice and that laugh, and we got a lot to do. Women, we have a lot to do. I want y'all to start calling me. I want to start calling y'all. We need to be getting on the Elder Tamar, my Ima, and Hezekiah had a Bible study that went on every single Wednesday without fail. It was called I Am Not Just a Woman. Hezekiah taught every single Wednesday on that call line. And they went over one chapter a week. We all need to be on that call line, because I need Hezekiah spirit to keep me going, and so do y'all.
Hallelujah.
So we have to give that to each other.
Yes.
That's all I have to say. Play the song. I know I come to speak.
Yeah.
Who ready to fight? Come on, put your hand up. Yeah. Who knows the song?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ready.
Check it, I'm ready for a revolution. My people down on this pollution. And politicians lying, saying they got a resolution. I don't dream of painting no White House black, but to burn it down to pieces and start over from scratch. Too many years you've been
shows that put gold in the last, so that's the focus. The allegory shows shorty killing the giant. The moral of the story is before you go to war, they show you complying with God's law in order to try. Yeah, check it. I spit it how I live at home. Moses Brown turned to a microphone, split the industry with these MCs and bring my people home. Check it, we certified soldiers. SOG to the devil, we perpetually no closure. Hey.
Things change, but these babies still crying, and their mothers out dying. What we gonna do by you? Saying things change, but these babies still crying, and their fathers out dying. What we gonna do?
Hallelujah.
Yas King, what about Yas King? We can't have
They weren't here, Yas King.
Yas King. Hey, repeat it.
Yeah, next.
Praise Yah.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yah.
Praise God. Hallelujah. That was some good music.
Praise God.
Yes, loved it. And I like the song by King. I was emotional about that one. The tribute to Hezekiah, that was such a great thing. And we are going to carry on that legacy. I don't know what young woman out there is going to come up, but the Almighty going to bring somebody up. You know, I know Hezekiah before I had my first son. We had a long relationship, and she was a great sister. I learned a lot from her. I'm not going to tell my age, but we've been friends for a long time. Probably most people in here don't even know that, but she had a lot of wisdom, a lot, and we just gonna have to carry on the legacy. You know, we're gonna have to get in. Like Dana said, some of us women don't read our scriptures enough, but we need to, and we need that unity amongst us too. You know, we got to carry on. But I'm gonna try to do this song with my son. Which song we doing?
Head to the Sky. That's not it. Wait, let me.
Meanwhile, I'll go ahead and talk. The prison, we had a sisterhood over here that I started. And I wasn't able to get on the phone with y'all on that day that y'all was doing the studies. But we always used to get on the phone. You know, brothers, sisters, and just talk scriptures all night. With her, sometimes Brother Dan to get on the phone with a whole bunch of people. That's how far we go back. The prison ministry, we were talking about that. And I just was saying something to another sister about who is going to do all these little things that Hezekiah did. I had bought some soap. I know it's the Sabbath, but the sun going down in a second. Little things, like soap in the bathroom. Even though we put soap in there, it's little things. She talked to a mentally ill person. Her name is Deborah. She used to come to our Bible class on Montgomery Road. She helped her. You know, just little things. Somebody is going to have to do things. I do a lot in the community, but I can't do it all. You know what I mean? But the Almighty, He going to send us somebody too. And it's going to be one of y'all sisters that's going to have to raise up. For real. Come on.
Start the song. I want to say my little piece real quick. I can say so many things, cause man, Hezekiah, like my mom just said, she was in my life before I was even born. You know what I mean? She was like an aunt to me.
She inspired me. She motivated me. Like I remember when the 12 Tribes dropped their music, and we was just talking about music and stuff like that. You know, I was real young. It was probably about like Shamaya age or even younger. You know what I mean? And we was just talking about, you know, Hebrew music and stuff. She would ask me what my favorite song was, and I remember I told her, and she was like, "What?" You know how Hezekiah, what? You know what I mean? She had that beautiful smile and laugh. Like I told her my favorite song was "We Are Chosen by Yah." I told her that was my favorite song, and she was like, "Woo!" Like, and then I can say so many things, but I'm gonna just share our last exchange 2 weeks ago. You know, before she passed away and stuff like that. Our last exchange was so beautiful. The second to last exchange was here in the Bible class. Actually, both of them were. I was having a bad day. Y'all know when I come in here in my little mood on the Sabbath day, you know what I mean? I don't want to talk to nobody. And she walked up to me. She knew exactly what I was feeling. She walked up to me. She was like, "You not feeling it?" Told her no. She asked, "Could I get a hug?" I hugged her, and we hugged for like 5 seconds. You know what I mean? And that was our second to last exchange. And our last exchange was a meeting we had. It was me, Hezekiah, my mom, and dad, and we was just talking about changes we can make to the class. And everybody came in here with that spirit, like we didn't even want to be here at the meeting, but everybody's here. We need to talk about the changes we need to make. And before we left, we was all so happy. You know what I mean? We had that joyful spirit. And she pointed it out too. She was like, "Well, nobody in the mood to even talk about none of the stuff we was just talking about." And all the changes we was talking about, she incorporated in her last presentation. Those her. It's just so many things like I said. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah. So yeah, just go ahead and drop that. We gonna jam out for Keith for Hezekiah. Yeah. Clap. 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 But I know that won't happen unless I look him in his eyes and keep my head to the sky. Change with my brain, with the knowledge I obtain on this holy convocation. destination. No matter how complacent I get, as long as I just cannot forget, I put my love into my soul. Hey, and I do what's told, do what's told. She the one that told me. She was like, that's it right there, you got one.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
She put it in me, she was like, you got one. It's an ongoing mission, telling my people we don't have long. Try not to walk in wrong, tell my brothers to stay strong. Hey, because I'm all about my Elohim, even when I stand alone and I'm starting to let go. Because I stress over things I can't control. Head heavy and my strips that give me hope. Is he right by my side? That's something I don't hope. That's something that I know. So I had to write this. They say young Israel go vote. When it's not in our control, I see my people losing hope. They composing, my composure's so bold. Yahweh's covenant will reload. Yeah, that's right, I feel it in my soul. Man, this flow gon' make them run. No, this flow don't sound too fun. All that Christian, I'm so saved and make my ears go numb. Hey, I just need a break. I just need to break it down. Cause they try to break us down and bend these laws. But my people built to stay strong. Yeah, we just have to stay strong, stay strong. We just have to stay strong, stay strong. Yeah, we just have to stay strong, stay strong. We just have to stay strong, stay strong. Walking in the spirit of God, hey, with my people, yeah. Walking in the spirit of God, hey, with my people, yeah. Walking in the spirit of God, hey, with my people, with my people, with my people, with my yeah. It's a ongoing mission, telling my people we don't have long. Try not to walk it wrong, tell my brothers to stay strong. Hey, because I'm all about my Elohim, even when I stand alone. My problem's bigger than Goliath. I need guidance from the highest. Put pressure on my people like the answer is to riot. If you ask them who's the pilot, everybody's indecisive. Yeah, shout out to my people. Keep these words and these lawsuits thick and then we stay strong. Hey, we just have to stay strong, stay strong. We just have to stay strong, stay strong. Yeah, we just have to stay strong, stay strong. We just have to stay strong, stay strong. Walking in the spirit of God, hey, with my people, yeah. Walking in the spirit of God, creators, number one fan. Cooler with lines, I feel like I'm damn. Flow too hot like what is a 10? Flamethrower for the words I'm saying. Protecting the law that he wrote with his hands to stay strong.
We just have to stay strong, stay strong. We just have to stay strong, stay strong.
Yeah, we just have to stay strong, stay strong. We just have to stay strong, stay strong. Walking in the spirit of Yah, hey, with my people, yeah. Walking in the spirit of Yah, hey, with my people, yeah. Walking in the spirit, with my people, with my people, yeah. All right.
Back to the subject at hand. I'm talking about following the duties of man, forgetting the concepts and precepts of man.
I'm the creator's number one fan. Cooler with lions, I feel like I'm damn. Flow too hot like winters and tan. The flamethrower for the words I'm saying. Protecting the law that he wrote with his hands, so stay strong. Hey, we just have to stay strong, stay strong. We just have to stay strong, stay strong. Yeah, we just have to stay strong, stay strong. We just have to stay strong, stay strong. Walking in the spirit of Yah, hey, with my people, yeah. Walking in the spirit of Yah, hey, with my people, yeah. Walking in the spirit, with my people, with my people, with my people, with my yeah. It's the ongoing mission, telling my people we don't have long. Try not to walk it wrong, tell my brothers to stay strong. Hey,
Because I'm all about my Yah, my Elohim. Even when I stand alone, we just have to stay strong.
praise God.
Hallelujah. Can you do that one?
Hallelujah. Give all of our performers a round of applause. Praise the mighty Yah. Everyone did a good job. And before we move on, I want to wish one of my brothers, Brother Harry, stand up. If you all wish, this is one of our new brothers that is communing with us today, that was invited by the brothers. Today is his Earth Day, so give him a round of applause and wish him a happy Earth Day. Praise the mighty Yah. The next thing I want to say is this, is that it feels so good to have all of my brothers and sisters that I hadn't been around for a while back together. And these are the type of things that we have to continue to do. And the next time around, I spoke with Maria Shia this morning. Unfortunately, we didn't plan well enough to have everybody together, but that is going to be our plan the next time, because we are a family and we're going to continue to operate like that. So, and just to let you all know, I mean, we are in contact on a continual basis. So, to let everybody know, we are working together. We are working together. We're speaking with one another. And just like the brother in New York, talking to that brother, we encourage all of you all to talk to these brothers, because we're a family. These are not just people I need to be talking to. We are all family. We are brothers and sisters. And this next elder that I want to call up is an elder that's out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, how many of y'all ready for our trip this summer we've been talking about to Charlotte? All right, I'm not seeing them hands clapping. Let's start making them preparations that we talked about. And in any event, they're having a conference this summer in the weekend of July 19th and 20th. So please, let's start preparing and we'll meet and talk about that more. But I want you all, this is a good friend of mine. He's an elder. We've been working together for several years. And I call this elder for counsel a lot of times, just like I call a lot of elders and a lot of people just for counsel. And very wise individual. He's been here several times for our conferences. And we want to reciprocate the same thing, because we have a very large family that comes to those conferences down in Charlotte. And we want you all to know one another. Everybody needs to know one another. Don't just know the people in this room and in Cincinnati. You got people all on the four corners of the earth. And we need to know each other and start meeting each other. But with no further ado, I'm going to call Elder Sar Aharon. If you all please rise and give him a warm welcome, and he's going to come forward and give us some great words of wisdom. Hallelujah.
Morty, they want to have children's prayer. How long we going to be here?
Children's class. You got them? Y'all want?
I mean, I can do it. How much?
Okay, they want to do children's class. We're going to be here for a minute. I mean, you know, we got, sun ain't gone down, and this is going to be an extended night, so he's going to speak, and then we got a couple songs to do before we go. So if the children want to go up for children's class, Did you have anything to address the children about specifically?
Not necessary.
Okay, not the children. So if the children want to be excused for children's class, go right ahead.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to the Creator of heaven and earth. I thank Him for my life and for the lives of all of you. Please be seated. Thank you. And for His mercies and His protection and having us all travel safely and praying for His mercies in our passage back home. And I just want to give thanks unto Him and say hallelujah. Hallelujah. I'm here to, my main purpose for being here is to bring love and condolences from the family in Charlotte, North Carolina, to extend our love to all of you, and to wish you all comfort in your time of grieving. I did not know the sister that well, Sister Hilkiah. I've heard so many things about her, and I even took the time yesterday when I got in to listen to her last, I believe her last talk on the 27th of April. And all the things that I heard about her are so true, and it's amazing. The elder Zerubbabel said yesterday that sometimes we find out more about people at the funeral than we even knew about them in life. And I have to make a testament to that, because I did not know her that well, because every time I came up, all the other speakers spoke, and I didn't hear much from her. And so I didn't get to know on a personal level. We just exchanged pleasantries when she came to Charlotte and when I was here. She was a very sweet woman, and I know that your loss is great, and I pray the Creator will provide comfort. And again, you sisters just need to step up. The Creator tells us all the time that throughout life and our own experiences, we find that the Most High giveth and He taketh. And blessed be His name. You never know when it's going to happen. Sometimes it happens slowly and we have enough time to prepare ourselves while they suffer. And so in this particular occasion, He took her quickly, and we, none of you were prepared for it, but the Creator doesn't make a mistake. He never makes a mistake. And so press on and move on, and just continue her legacy and remember all the great things that she's done, and pass it on to the youth and let them remember her, because some of them are young and they may not remember. It's going to be your jobs to continue to keep her name alive and her spirit alive within all of you. And so I'm going to do a little something today. You all mind if I switch it up a little bit? Okay. So first I like to go into the book, and I like to go into the book of Samuel. I should have had this ready. The music was great, and of course, I always get y'all mixed up with Detroit. I think I'm in Motown when I hear all of this great music, and y'all have to remind me I'm in Cincy. And always a pleasure to be here, listen to all the great music. And you make me lazy. By the time I get called up, I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit back and relax and enjoy it. But I want to go and do something a little different today. So we're going to start off in Samuel. And I want to read a portion that's going to be a segue into what I'd like to talk about today. Okay, so just give me a second. Make sure I got the right portion here. Yeah, 1 Samuel, and I apologize. I'm a little slow, Okay. Wow. Apologize.
Is it a certain scripture you're looking for?
Okay, no, hold on to that just a second. I just want to do this first. See, the problem is that I got lazy up back there. I got lazy and I lost my spot. I'm way off. I'll try to make it up to you. I thought it was in the beginning. Wow. All right, so I want to go to the portion. I had it last night. I want to go to the portion where David slept with Bathsheba. Where is that? See, it's okay to let the kids leave. I thought it was around Samuel 17 or 18. 2 Samuel? 11. Okay, 2 Samuel 11. My apologies. Oh yeah. 2 Samuel 11. We're going to start in the first verse.
2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 1. And it came to pass after the year was expired, at the time when the kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him, and all Israel. And they destroyed the children of Ammon, and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried still at Jerusalem.
You know what they say? They say the devil's, idle mind is what? Devil's workshop. David should have gone out to war. And he decided to stay back in Jerusalem so that he could take a break. I guess they were giving him a rest. They thought he was going out to war too often. But his idle mind got him in trouble. Now, I've been to Jerusalem 3 times, Torah, and I can tell you about the city. In the old city of Jerusalem, the houses are just, they're like not stacked on top of each other, but you see it, it's everywhere. You can look over and you can see on top of other people's houses and look around the city because everything is so close together. So I can imagine what happened in this particular occasion. So let's read on.
And it came to pass in an eventide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house.
Okay, so he's just killing time, you know, the end of the day. Tamshi, read on, please.
And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David sent and inquired after the woman, and one said, Is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite?
Okay, so now, first of all, can't blame him for looking if she's out there and she's naked. He should have looked away once he saw her. But if she's a single woman, what man is not going to continue to look? So far, not such a bad thing, in my opinion. But then, once he inquired of her and he found out that she was married, that should have been the end of the story right there. Turn around, go back in the house, look the other way, send her a message. Listen, I see people see, the king sees you. And you don't want the king to see you naked. I'm sure that's not wasn't her intention. And so he decided to do some evil things. Okay, so let's read on.
And David sent messengers and took her, and she came in unto him, and he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house.
Okay, so now he's taken her from her house because she didn't have any say about that. Took her from her house, lay with her, and then sent her back home like nothing happened. Okay? Now this was the king of Israel. Okay, a couple of weeks later?
And the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child. And David sent to Joab saying, send me Uriah the Hittite.
Okay, so now Uriah the Hittite is in the front, is out at war, and so David decides that, okay, well, we know who the daddy is not. We know who's not the daddy, so now he's going to go and do another evil. That's what happens when you lie and you do the wrong thing. You got to do another thing to cover that up, another wrong thing. You can't fix that. Okay, so where am I going with this? This is, everybody knows the end of the story, but this is just a simple example of bad human nature when we get off track, and it's temptation, and how do you control that? And so I like you to go to a different place. The people at home, and I need the brother, I have some material I like him to hand out for me. Okay, to hand that out. For those of you who have smartphones, you can take it on your smartphone. Anyone at home, I suggest, if you like, I invite you to take out your smartphones and to Google James Allen Free Library. James Allen Free Library. And once you get there, it's going to be a couple of different sections, but you want to go to the one that says one word. It'll have, let me see if I can get it on. Okay, now you're going to get a bunch of different titles. When you get there, you're going to get a bunch of different titles, and I want you to move down to the one that's in 1910. It's called Above Life's Turmoil. Above Life's Turmoil is the particular book that I want us to go into. Above Life's Turmoil of James Allen's book. It was written in 1910. That shows you how far back this literature is. And the way this man, he was a European in England, and he had an amazing ability to bring to life Yah's word. Now there are some portions in some of his writings where you will find that he has more of a Christian background, but most of them don't have that, and really it's irrelevant on the parts that we're going to read. The one thing I learned about reading other writings, you don't throw away the baby with the bathwater. So you can separate the things that you don't want out of his writings, and you can get the essence of his wisdom in these writings. This particular portion we're going to go to is the uses of temptation. And we're going to talk about the uses of temptation. You say, now what can you use temptation for? Well, let's see what we can use temptation for. So I need my reader. So let's begin. We're in James Allen, Above Life's Turmoil, and we're reading chapter 4, the uses of temptation.
You start at the top.
Top of page.
The soul, in its journey toward perfection, passes through 3 distinct stages. The first is the animal stage, in which the man is content to live in the gratification of his senses, unawakened to the knowledge of sin, or of his divine inheritance, and altogether unconscious of the spiritual possibilities within himself.
Okay, so I think that's the ego, we used to call it in psychology. That's the stage where like a child starts out. It might even be the egg. I don't remember. Took that class 40-something years ago. But the point is that when we first start out, and even as children and going into adulthood, we start out with just trying to gratify whatever our needs and our desires are. We have no essence, no understanding, and no will to try to understand that right from wrong. We don't want to understand right from wrong. We just do whatever we feel like doing. That's the animal stage that we start out in. And then we move on into the second stage.
The second is the dual stage, in which the mind is continually oscillating between its animal and divine tendencies, having become awakened to the consciousness of both.
Okay, so as we get older, we get into our teens, we start realizing that there's certain things we should not do. and certain things that we should do. So now we're going back and forth. We have the teachers of our parents who teaches us morals and values, and then we have this need to just be gratified to do whatever we want to do. We want a piece of candy, we steal it. We want something, we just go and take it. We do whatever we feel like doing, and then we go back and we say, oh wow, y'all's watching. I gotta go out on Shabbat and I gotta be holy. So we're going back and forth. A lot of times people go through their entire lives in that stage, just back and forth. They never really want to settle on doing the right thing, and they don't want to stay in the evil stage, but they gotta, every now and then they gotta go back and dip and dab. You know how we are. We always gotta find a way to figure out how we can have some fun. No, we don't get caught. We try to figure out a way to have some fun. Now, this particular portion is gonna make you a little hot under your seat. It's okay. Because we're all going to be hot under our seats. We all are going through these phases in life where we are constantly challenged with temptation, and the Creator puts it there for a purpose. As we read on, we'll see that. But we have to learn how to control our urges and control our evil spirits and the things that make us go against Yah's laws. So let's read on.
It is a stage of continually fighting, of falling and rising, of sinning and repenting for the man still loving and reluctant to leave the gratifications in which he has so long lived, yet also aspires to the purity and excellence of the spiritual state, and he is continually mortified by an undecided choice.
We don't know which way to go. We want to do the right thing, and we're trying to do the right thing, and yet we have these desires, we have these urges, we have these temptations, we have these things that's constantly tugging and pulling at us. Sometimes it's just a bad spirit. It's just a bad spirit and a bad mood that we know we shouldn't have, or just a bad word to a spouse or to a child or to a friend. We just keep going back and forth and trying to do the right thing, and yet doing the wrong things that we have to say I'm sorry for. This is what life is, unless you can get to a point of peace where you start accepting the fact that I can't keep going back and forth. I just can't keep going back and forth. And all of us struggle with that. We still struggle with that. I don't know. As you get older, I think when we get older, the elders get older, we start realizing, you know what, I'm tired of doing the wrong thing. I done been there, done that, I'm overwhelmed through with it. And we can find peace in trying to do the right thing all the time, because I actually have to set examples. And so we get there. My suggestion is don't wait till you get to 65 to get there. Get there as soon as you can, because that's where your salvation is. That's where your blessings are. That's where your camaraderie with the Creator is going to be developed and solidified. Okay, so we understand what he's saying here, that you want to aspire to be pure and for excellence of the spiritual state, but you're continually mortified by some of the choices that you make. Let's move on.
Urged on by the divine life within him, this stage becomes at last one of deep anguish and suffering, and then the soul is ushered into the third stage, that of knowledge, in which the man rises above both sin and temptation and enters into peace.
Now, Dawid, as you can see, when that portion we read, he was obviously in the animal stage. He had a connection with the Creator, and he was able to get away with a lot of stuff because it wasn't because the Creator favored him. It was because the Creator had a mission for him, and his mission wasn't complete. As long as your mission and your purpose is not complete with the Creator, he'll put up with your foolishness. He'll put up with your foolishness until he say, you know what? I have enough. I have a replacement. And that's what he did to Saul. When Saul disobeyed him, he got 1 or 2 chances, and the Creator said, all right, I already got, your neighbor's going to take over this job because you can't handle it no more. You've done what you were put there to do, which was to give Israel a king. That was their first king. But after that, he was useless to the Creator. We're all going to become useless to the Creator at some point in time. And he's going to say, okay, your mission is complete, and I'm going to find someone to replace you, or whatever his reasons are. And none of us can answer that question. But one thing is for sure, that we know that if we continue to live an unrighteous lifestyle, the Creator is going to put some serious damage on us. Okay? So let's move on. So now we talk about this thing called temptation.
So, temptation, like contentment in sin, is not a lasting condition, as the majority of people suppose. It is a passing phase, an experience through which the soul must pass. But as to whether a man will pass through that condition in this present life and realize holiness and heavenly rest here and now will depend entirely upon the strength of his intellectual and spiritual exertions and upon the intensity and ardor with which he searches for truth.
So we all have the opportunity to move through the temptation stage as soon as we realize that temptation, see, a lot of people think temptation is something that's external. You know, you see something and, it's tempting you. No, the temptation is within your spirit. It's your spirit that's tempted. It's not the thing that tempts you. This camera right here, some people love cameras. They love cameras and, that's all they want to do is be in front of a camera. They want to take a selfie. But everybody's not tempted by a camera. So the object itself is not the tempting. It's not the tempter. The tempter is in your spirit. You just like yourself so much you just want to take a picture. Okay? So let's read on and see how we can figure out how to control this temptation and figure out how we become the power and the force that makes our spirits better and not the things that's on the external side of us.
Temptation, with all its attendant torments, can be overcome here and now. But it can only be overcome by knowledge. It is a condition of darkness or of semi-darkness. The fully enlightened soul is proof against all temptation.
In other words, the more you know about yourself, the more you understand and you accept the Creator's laws, statutes, and commandments, you understand morality, you understand the goodness of doing the right thing, you can't be tempted. In other words, even though those things are out there, you might want them, but they don't control you. You control them. You control your desires for them. And that's what it's all about. David didn't learn that until after he suffered this great loss, because the Creator didn't take his life, but he made his life miserable. He brought all of that heartache and pain and turned his whole house against him. That was the price he paid, because the Creator could have taken his life, but he hadn't finished his work. And so the Creator allowed him to do that. But look at the suffering that his whole family took, starting with the rape of his daughter by his son, in order to put all of that. So that's the other thing about temptation. We do things in our life that we think for our own pleasure, but we don't realize how many other people are going to be impacted by it. How many other people are going to suffer for the bad choices that we make. These are the types of things that temptation will have us do. It's all about selfishness. Temptation is all about selfishness, thinking about your own self and what you want, and you don't care what it's going to cost to get it until after you get it. And then after you get what you want, then you realize it wasn't worth it. Let's read on.
When a man fully understands the source, nature, and meaning of temptation, in that hour will he conquer it, and will rest from his long travail. But whilst he remains in ignorance, attention to religious observances.
Check this out. Read that again.
Attention to religious observances and much praying and reading of scripture will fail to bring him peace.
That's what some of us do. We get into that mood, we do the wrong thing. I gotta pray. You want somebody to pray for you. It's not gonna solve your problem. You can try, pray all you want. That's religion. That's what a lot of us are stuck on. We're doing things in our lives and we're looking for the Creator to solve our problems. When a lot of times we can solve our own problems. We just need to live a different lifestyle. We need to live a different life. We have to have a different way of thinking about the things that we do and what life means to us. So the writer is really trying to get us into the corrective state so that we can understand that all of these things that we think are correcting us are not really correct. Do you feel me? Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, I don't want to bore you now. Let's read on.
If a man goes out to conquer an enemy knowing nothing of his enemy's strength, tactics, or place of ambush, he will not only ignominiously fail, but will speedily fall into the hands of the enemy. He who will overcome his enemy, the tempter, must discover his stronghold and place of concealment, and must also find out the unguarded gates in his own fortress where his enemy effects so easy an entrance.
Okay, so what is he saying? Exactly. And sometimes the enemy, he says the enemy is the tempter. He's not talking about the beautiful guy out there, the beautiful woman out there that's tempting you. He's talking about what's in your spirit. Right. That's what you have to conquer. And he's saying also that the tempter needs to know where his weaknesses are. You need to know where the tempter's weaknesses are. Those are your own weaknesses. You got to know where your weaknesses are. So in other words, if you know that you don't need to be going in the light district because you're weak, then you don't go down that street. You don't go down the street with the red lights. You stay away from the places where you don't go to the club or to the other kind of club if you know that's not where you need to be. But the thing is, that's what happens. We think that those things are making us do bad things. They're not making you do bad things, because some people can go in there and it has no effect on them. They can drive down that. What's your red light district? Yeah, everybody got one. Or what's the street that go down where you know you can just pull up and buy drugs? Or whatever the case might be. You don't go down that block. You don't go down that block saying, I don't know where I'm going to go, but wow, I ended up on that block. You know, come on now. That block ain't tempting you. It's what's in your spirit that tempted you to go down that block. Obviously, you wanted to be there. You worry about what's going to happen tomorrow, but right now I need a thrill. Let's read on.
The necessities continual meditation, ceaseless watchfulness, and constant and rigid introspection, which lays bare before the spiritual eyes of the tempted one the vain and selfish motives of his soul.
Okay, so again, it requires self-control. It requires constant watch, because once you let your guard down, if you know you got, hopefully everybody don't have more than one weakness, because if you got a lot of weaknesses, you're in trouble. But if you can just pick that one weakness that you know you have, focus on it and say, I have to be strong so I make sure I don't go down that path. Now, most of us have more than one. I know I have more than one. And it's not necessarily a thing where I'm doing something to someone else. It just be something I'm doing to myself. Or it could just be everybody knows you to have a bad attitude, then that's something to work on. It's something to work on. I have a bad attitude. I got a hot head. I like to, snap off too quickly. Whatever it is. I can't pull myself away from the table. Whatever it is. I need to exercise more. I know I have health issues, but I'm not, listen, I'm diabetic. I'm not proud of it. And I have a sweet tooth. But I know I have to pick my poisons. I'm not going to drink and eat cake and not exercise. No, if I'm going to eat cake, I'm not going to drink, and I'm going to exercise, and I'm going to do other healthy things to combat that weakness. Because I want to live. But if we just went and did everything we wanted to do with no consciousness about the consequences, we're not going to be here long. Whatever it is. Indulging in anything too much is going to kill you. You drink too much water, it will kill you. Did y'all know that? You could drown off of drinking too much water. And it's not that it went down the wrong pipe. Your body can't handle all of that water. So it's about understanding what your weaknesses are, understanding what your limits are, and being able to control your vices and your desires. And we're not even talking about the bad stuff. We keep it in your spirit. Control your spirit. Now that comes from the Moray, so he's making a confession right now. It's all right, Moray, you're not by yourself. Time sheet, let's read on.
Before the spiritual eyes of the tempted one, the vain and selfish motives of the soul. This is the holy warfare of the saints. It is the fight upon which every soul enters when it awakens out of this long sleep of animal indulgence.
Exactly. Once you realize, some of us didn't care until we got the knowledge of the Most High, the knowledge of ourselves. We just did whatever we wanted. Partied on during the Shabbat. We went to, did all kinds of things. We're not going to mention them all. We know what we did. I grew up in the projects. I've seen a lot. Okay? I know just from my own life. I didn't have any cares about things like that, even though I knew right from wrong, even though I knew there was a God. I didn't really understand and fully understand the spiritual side. Knowledge is nothing without understanding. And so just having knowledge of knowing the book doesn't do you any good if you're not applying it and you're not understanding that it has meaning and the words have power. And so this is what he's talking about, the fact that most people don't actually really know life until they know the Creator and they understand the consequences of things, and they take it and they have a consideration of how it's going to impact not just them but people around them, and how the Creator is going to decide your fate based on the things that you do. Let's read on.
Man fail to conquer, and the fight is indefinitely prolonged because they labor almost universally under two delusions. First, that all temptations come from without. And second, that they are tempted because of their goodness.
Okay, so you heard what he said. He said that men fail to conquer this thing called temptation, and the fight goes on indefinitely because they are under two delusions. The first delusion is that the temptation is coming from without. So you think the temptation is the pretty girl or the good-looking guy or the beautiful red-bottom shoes or whatever it is, it's your vice. And the second delusion is that, I lost my place here. The second delusion is that the temptation is because the goodness in yourself. In other words, I'm only getting this temptation because I'm a good person, and so people are trying to make me bad, or this thing is trying to make me a bad person because I'm so good, and I'm being tested. So let's read on.
While say man is held in bondage by these two delusions,
you're in bondage.
He will make no progress. When he has shaken them off, he will pass on rapidly from victory to victory and will taste of spiritual joy and rest.
Okay, so we first have to realize that the temptation is not from the object, because if it was from the object, again, we'd all be tempted to say, am I right or wrong? If everybody thought that they want to sit in this chair, and everybody's tempted, y'all be all crowded up trying to get in this chair. You'd be playing musical chairs. But I don't see anybody wanting to sit in that chair or even on any one of these other chairs. So it's not the object that's tempted. Or even some people like to sit in the front. Everybody knows me. I got a bad reputation. I like to sit in the back. Well, everybody doesn't like sitting in the back, right? So as we know that the object doesn't tempt us. I don't care what you can think of. Everybody's not going to want that. Unless you're talking about the Creator. And that's not a temptation. That's a zeal. That's another thing about temptation. Temptation, you don't say, I'm tempted to give somebody a gift. I'm tempted to say a prayer. No, you say, I'm tempted to punch her in her mouth. I'm tempted to steal something from somebody. You don't get a temptation to do something good. You get a temptation to do something bad. Temptation is a desire to sin. So these are the things we have to understand in our minds so that we can figure out how to control it.
Yeah.
Let's read on.
While say man is held in bondage by these two delusions, he will make no progress. When he has shaken them off, he will pass on rapidly from victory to victory and will taste of spiritual joy and rest.
That's when you're going to figure it all out and you're going to find peace in your life. That's what the elders have done. They figured out that, there's no progress until they learn how to control these things. Or some of us, maybe we just had enough fun and we learned to stop and do the right thing. I see people shaking their heads. But we know that's not the way we should have done it. We'll acknowledge that because you know why we know? Because we try to stop our children, and what do we say to them? Don't make the same mistakes I made. Don't go down this road, I already know where it's going to lead you. I don't want you to suffer like I suffered. That's because they went through this stage, and they already have the answers to your questions. That's why the children have to understand. Y'all think that we just want to control you. We don't want to control you. We want you to control yourself. We want you to learn the lesson from somebody else. Wouldn't you rather learn that you don't cross on the red before somebody runs you over with a Mack truck? So if somebody else does something that causes them to lose their life or go into some type of calamity, our goal as a parent, a grandparent, is don't do that because I already know what the conclusion is going to be for you. And we don't have to do that. So now, guess what? Your life is so much more pleasant because you learned what we teach you in your 20s that we learned in our 50s. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to move the nation forward. And as long as the stagnation remains because we don't understand how to get past doing the wrong things that hold us back, that slows down the progress of the nation. That slows it down for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 generations. It has to, because we're not making the necessary progress to move you forward as our future. Let's move on.
Two searching truths must take the place of these two delusions. And those truths are, first, that all temptations comes from within. And second, that a man is tempted because of the evil that is within him.
Wow. Sorry. Okay, so we already know that the temptation comes from within because I've explained that. But now they're saying that the evil is in you. So, I mean, what else is it? Because again, temptation is correlated with sin. So the sin is in us. The desires that David had didn't come from Bathsheba being nasty on that roof. For being naked on that roof. The temptation was he wanted her and he didn't even care if she was married to another man. Right or wrong? Okay, so the evil was in David in order for him to, and it didn't stop with just laying with the sister, because now he had to get rid of her husband in order to cover up his first sin, which was a bigger sin. Now, if you cause another man to be killed, in this case, he wasn't murdered because he put him out in the front lines to die. Well, he put him out in the front lines and then told everybody else, pull back. So they left him out here, Uriah out there by himself, which you know what the result of that was going to be. That's murder by the hand of somebody else. That's evil. There's no other word for it. That's evil. Let's move on.
The idea that God, a devil, evil spirits, or outward objects are the source of temptation must be dispelled. The source and cause of all temptation is in the inward desire, that being purified or eliminated. Outward objects and extraneous powers are utterly powerless to move the soul to sin.
Or to temptation. Exactly. He's saying that you can't say, like, what was Flip Wilson's favorite line? The devil made me do it. A lot of people are like, who's Flip Wilson? Okay? Well, all us elders know who Flip Wilson was. And that was his favorite line. Actually, that was Geraldine's favorite line. The devil made me do it. The devil don't make you do it. Y'all didn't make you do it. Evil spirits didn't make you do it. Outward objects didn't make you do it. Your evil, dirty, unrighteous mind, sinful mind made you do it. That's what made you do it. And we have to understand that's what has to be corrected. We got to start with our thinking. Before we even get to saying, well, I said the wrong thing, or I did the wrong thing, we got to get to the thinking first. The thinking comes before. This thought, I don't care if it's what do you call it, a nanosecond, but there's a thought that comes in your head before you do something. And the thing is, we need to think a little longer before we speak and before we act. And that keeps us out of trouble. And so, once you learn how to control your thought, you can now learn how to control your speech. You can then control your action. Like they say, sometimes when something ticks you off, or your natural reaction would do another, count to 10. Nobody counts to 10. You might count to 3, however long it takes, until you get yourself in a condition, because all of this stuff just takes practice. Just like you can practice to snap off at somebody the first chance you get, especially somebody you don't like, because your thoughts have been going, that sister been getting on my nerves. I just don't like her. She just thinks she's so cute. You run that stuff around your head long enough, and then the first chance you get, all she has to do is say shalom and you didn't hear it. Did you say something to me? That's your reaction, because you already had it in your mind that you wanted to pick a fight. Oh, you talking about you? I wasn't, but if you want to claim it. This is the thing that I tell people all the time. When I teach these kind of lessons, the first thing I usually say, which I forgot to say today, don't think this message is for the person that you think it's for. Think that is for you.
That's right.
The message is for you. The message is not for, because a lot of y'all have been sitting here all day. That's sister so-and-so, that's brother so-and-so. No. No. He just reminded me that I forgot to tell y'all that. That's the disclaimer. The message is for you. The message is for me. I learn when I teach. The message is for me. The message is for you. Forget about the other person that's not here, that didn't hear the message. They not here. Maybe they home listening, I don't know. But the thing is that when you start putting in your mind that it's about somebody else, you're not even focusing on your own faults. This man right here obviously is focusing on his own faults. I gotta give you a round of applause. But this message is not just for you.
That's right. We should be thinking like that.
Exactly. We should be thinking that the message is for us. Because otherwise, all you're going to do is go home and say, yeah, Sister so-and-so should have been there. She needed to hear. Not. Okay? It's important. I speak best when I speak from the heart. I rarely write notes, because I never know where the Spirit's going to take my thoughts. And I trust in the Creator, hopefully, to say the right thing, to bring the message to the right people, and to at least somebody to get something out of it. And these portions, and there's another portion in here that I want you all to look up when we're done. I was going to do it today, but I thought it might step on people's toes, and that wasn't my goal. But there's a portion in this particular book, and just write it down so you remember it. The Temple of Brotherhood. It's a very powerful portion about how we are to relate to each other and to get along. It's called the Temple of Brotherhood. And it's a very powerful portion. This writer, again, he's from England, and he only lived to be 40-something years old. And this particular book was written in 1910. This writing is over 100 years old. And does it sound like it? So you see that this portion can last for centuries, obviously, because the basics of life are all impacted in here. Some of his writings are a little difficult. You really have to concentrate on them. I don't read these books very quickly. I do a chapter a day or something like that, because the information in it is so powerful that you have to read it several times. That's why I could have very simply had him read this and you listen. No, you need to read it along with me and read it back while I'm talking so that you can absorb the information. There's no other reason for us to get up and teach you if we can't give you something to take home to make your life better. That's what we're up here for. You know the book as well as we do. Some of you know the book better than I do, I'm sure. But the thing is that it's not just about the knowledge. It's about the application. And when they put the application to the knowledge, that's when you get the wisdom. That's when you get the understanding. And that's what we need as a people. We need more understanding and more wisdom in order to figure out how to get past this captivity that we're living in. We're stagnant as a people if we're just doing church on Saturday. We can't just do that. We have to have a goal towards the return. We talk about it all the time, but are we really moving towards that goal? Are we really making progress towards that goal? That's what we should be doing, because if we don't, we are not giving our children a head start on what they got to do to get us back into our land, to get us back in the favor of the Almighty. It's not just about reciting precepts. It's about living these precepts. It's about applying these precepts to reach the prophecy that the Creator left on record for us. Let's read on. Am I preaching to the choir? No? Okay, good. All right, where are we?
The source and cause of all temptation is in the inward desire, that being purified or eliminated. Outward objects and extraneous powers are utterly powerless to move the soul to sin or temptation. The outward object is merely the occasion of the temptation, never the cause.
Exactly. We see what happened with Dawid. It wasn't her. It wasn't her. He just had it in his heart to take any woman he wanted. You know, and that's what he did. That's what our forefathers did. We got men doing that today. It's happening all the time. People just want to have what they want, and they don't. And they say, "Oh, you know, you should have been looking so fine." You know, that's our excuse. It's your fault. You know, that's supposed to be some type of aphrodisiac conversation. I don't know, but it's a lie. It's a straight up lie. It's an excuse to do the wrong thing. That's all it is. It's an excuse. And we're always looking for an excuse, because that helps us to explain our, what was the word? Shortcomings, exactly. No pun intended. The guys got it.
Wow.
Okay. Where are we? Y'all late. Keep it moving.
If the cause existed in the object, all men would be tempted alike.
Talk about that.
Ooh, that's deep. Temptation can never be overcome, and man will be hopelessly doomed to endless torment. But seated as it is in his own desires, he has the remedy in his own hands.
Right.
And can become victorious over all temptation by purifying those desires. A man is tempted because there are within him certain desires or states of mind which he has come to regard as unholy.
Okay, so you've already set it up in your mind. Let me go back a little bit, because I don't want this to go over anybody's head. The source and cause of all temptations and the inward desire, we talk about that. That being purified and eliminated, outward objects and extraneous powers are utterly powerless to move the soul to sin or to temptation. The outward object is merely an occasion. We talked about that. Of the temptation, never the cause. This is in the desire of the one tempted. If the cause existed in the object, we talked about that, all men would be tempted by the same thing. That's not the case. A man at the bottom of the line, a man is tempted because there are within him certain desires and states of mind which he has come to regard as unholy. So we know what we're doing is wrong. We understand that and keep in mind when they say man, they talk about woman too. Okay? This is old time writing right here. And we understand that so in some cases women have more power than men do, especially over men. Okay? And so they control a lot of, their desires control our, again, I'm not blaming y'all for that. But y'all know what y'all do. I'm going to leave it right there because I'm getting ready to get all twisted up. I'm going to back it up. No, I'm not going with y'all. There's too many of y'all over there. And that elder, she'll be throwing that 50-year shoe at me. I'm not having it. All right, so let's move on. I'm going to stop while I'm ahead. These desires
may lie asleep for a long time.
Right.
And the man may think that he has got rid of them when suddenly,
bam!
On the presentation of an outward sleeping desire wakes up and thirsts of immediate gratification, and this is the state of temptation.
You can never fall asleep on your weaknesses, because that's when they hit you. Your weaknesses will hit you when you leave. You can go a long time, a guy gets married, let's say, I'm going to use the guys, because this sister right here, this elder, she got a big cup over here. I don't want her throwing it at me. Okay, so let's talk about the guys. They go through this phase where they think that they can have anything they want, how much they want, whatever. They go through that little phase, and then they finally find a sister that, ain't having that, you know what I'm saying? Put a ring on it, you know what I'm saying? And then, he marries her, and he's faithful, and she's watching him, and then all of a sudden, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line, she goes away suddenly out of town, and his boys take him out to the club. And then all of a sudden, all that stuff that he's been wanting to do all these years, but he didn't want to be unfaithful to his wife, he decides, you know what, she ain't in town. Can ever let your guard down. Because now you got to start from square one. That one time, first of all, that one mistake could ruin your life. In a whole lot of different ways. Because when we do those one-night stand numbers, we don't know if she got a man, if she got a woman, if she got a family. We don't know what her situation is. On top of that, we don't know what kind of other bugs she's carrying around down there. Okay? And then, or we end up with a baby that we don't want to own. We don't want to claim. There's so many different things. No, none of that happens. You just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and all of a sudden, people come in and start shooting up the joint. I don't know. All I know is the Creator got a multitude of ways of making us pay for our bad mistakes. And sometimes we don't get more than one chance. Sometimes the nicest people, just like they talk about, you think the goodness is coming after you, the sin is coming after you, the temptation is coming after you because of your own goodness. The bad guys can get away with it for a lifetime, and the good guys get caught out there on the first try. That's because the Creator holds you to a high standard. That's why. He put the evil people in there to be an example for you not to follow. And then we decided to go down that road, and the Creator said, you're not going to get away like Junebug gets away with it. That's how it goes. Is anybody in here named Junebug? Okay, I don't want to offend Junebug. Okay, just checking. Let's move on. The good in a man is never tempted.
Goodness destroys temptation.
Okay, I talked about that before. The good in a man is never tempted. You're not tempted to do the right thing. Oh, I'm tempted to be a good person today. Who says that? No, you say, I'm tempted to go out there and get in trouble. I'm tempted to mess around. You don't say, I'm tempted to buy my wife some flowers. I'm tempted to cook my husband a good meal. I'm tempted to, have some fun tonight with my spouse. That's not a temptation. That's a good thing. You get tempted to do evil. And that's what we have to understand. Time sheet, let's move on. Goodness destroys temptation. So all is good in you, removes the power that the tempting spirit in you has over you.
The measure of a man's temptations is the exact register of his own unholiness. As a man purifies his heart, temptation ceases. For when a certain unlawful desire has been taken out of the heart, the object which formerly appeared to appeal to it can no longer do so, but becomes dead and powerless. There is nothing left in the heart that can respond to it.
Us elders understand that. I say that because we're mature enough to know that the things that we did in our youth, that we got it out of our system, or we realized it wasn't profitable for us, it didn't help our situation, and so now we look at it and say, oh yeah, you don't even try it. You know, I've been there, done that, and I done learned my lesson, and I ain't going down that road no more. You see how they agreeing with me? They know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all in there saying, I don't know yet, I ain't there. We understand. What we're trying to say is get there as fast as you can. Get to the point where you're not going to allow outside objects to control your spirit and force you to do things that you're going to regret. That's temptation all in itself. That's all it is. It's there in your spirit to test you. And keep in mind, the Creator is in control of all emotions. Temptation is in the control of the Creator in terms of the fact that He put it in your spirit, or He wants to use it to test us all the time. We're tested all the time. How many times you say to yourself, I'm just being tested? And you got to understand that that's what it is. The Creator wants to see the goodness in you. He's not testing you to see if you're going to do the right thing. He's testing you to see if you're going to do the wrong thing. The right thing should be actually natural to you, to all of us. And so whenever we get these tests, it's to see if we're really good in our hearts, or if we just good because everything is going good and we don't have anything to really challenge us. Sometimes it's people. Sometimes it's things. Sometimes it's just the spirit. Sometimes it's just thoughts. All of these things have power over us within our spirit that we have to conquer and overcome. Let's read on.
Therefore, there is nothing.
The honest man, right, we have to the honest man.
The honest man cannot be tempted to steal, let the occasion be ever so opportune. The man of purified appetites cannot be tempted to gluttony and drunkenness. Though the viands and wines be the most luscious, he of an enlightened understanding, whose mind is calm in the strain of inward virtue, can never be tempted to anger, irritability, or revenge, or in the wiles and charms of the wanton fall upon the purified heart as empty, meaningless shadows.
We can't be tempted to do the things that we know we don't want to do and we have no intention of doing. So he's telling you that if you're not a thief, all the pocketbooks in here could be open with money coming out of it. You're not going to touch it. But if you have a thievery spirit in your heart, soon as you see one, you're trying to figure out how you can get away with it. That's what he's saying. He's saying that if it's not in your heart, you would never do it. But if the opportunity, if it's in your heart, it's already there. It was there before the pocketbook got there. And all you needed was an opportunity to do the wrong thing. So this is what he's saying. So what we want to do is purify our hearts, purify our spirits, so that we're not tempted by the things that we know are weaknesses. We want to be prepared for them before they come up. So that we can say to ourselves, well, I'm going to the club, but I know I ain't messing around with nobody. You know, I'm not supposed to be with, if I have an obligation to somebody else, whatever it is. I'm using the stuff that I know we all go through or went through when there's so many other things out there that can get us in trouble. Let's move on. Temptation shows a man.
Temptation shows a man just where he is sinful and ignorant, and is a means of urging him on to higher altitudes of knowledge and purity. Without temptation, the soul cannot grow and become strong. There can be no wisdom, no real virtue, and though there would be lethargy and death, there could be no peace and no fullness of life. When temptation is understood and conquered, perfection is assured, and such perfection may become any man's who is willing to cast every selfish and impure desire by which he is possessed into the sacrificial fire of knowledge.
You know, somebody was saying today that nobody can be perfect, but we're supposed to still strive for perfection. That's what they're talking about here. They're saying and just reminding us that, you know, when you take temptation out, temptation is there for a reason. Temptation is to purify your spirit and purify your heart, to strengthen your resolve to do the right thing, to overcome all your weaknesses. If the temptation wasn't there, you wouldn't know whether you really were strong or not. I tell people all the time. I was talking to a young man just yesterday, and I told him, I said, you know, you're in a relationship. In relationships, you don't really know a person until you go through an adversity with them. You shouldn't think about marrying a person until after you had your first big argument. You should never even think about getting that. Listen, definitely don't lay with them. Because once you do that, you've already beelined all the other flags that you should have seen before you got that intimacy. Before you get into that intimate relationship, if you haven't gone through a good fight and know how they're going to respond to you, whether they're going to try to kill you, whether they're going to try to run you over, whether they're going to try to destroy your name or do anything else to ruin your life, you done lay with them and now you have an argument and all of a sudden you find out that they're a beast. A little bit too late. It's too late. You got to go through these things. So it's the same thing with your spirit. You got to go through certain things and have certain tests before you know how well you can be a role model or you can just be a person of Yah. Because this is all about the Creator. These are the things that we have to think about and take very, very seriously in our relationships. And before we can get into those things, we got to understand and know ourselves. Know thyself. Right. Let's move on.
Let man therefore search diligently for truth, realizing that whilst they are subject to temptation, they have not comprehended truth.
Now keep in mind, when they talk about truth, they're talking about knowing what your issues are. Truth can be a lot of things, but in this particular case, truth is the essence, knowing the essence of yourself. Knowing what you need to know about yourself to be a better person, to be a Yah-fearing person, to be a person that knows how to avoid bad choices and things that we do in our life. That's the truth he's talking about. It's not truth about a whole lot of stuff that you might think that might mean. It's really about knowing yourself and knowing what your weaknesses are and what you don't want to have happen to you in your life. By your own hand. Some things we cannot avoid. But you don't want your own bad mistakes to be the cause of you to have so many problems or for you to bring heartache and calamity on your family. I'm going to stop here because I think the message is clear. The rest of it gets into some other stuff which is not bad. You can read it. There's nothing wrong with it. But I think that I've basically covered everything that I think is so important for us to understand about this truth and about temptation. Not a topic that you might think somebody would bring up, but you know, I find that some of these outside writings are very, very powerful to help us to break down the law. The law is all we need if we had a Hebraic thinking, a Hebraic mind, and we weren't so contaminated by the suffering and the captivities that we've gone through. We've lost a lot of what they were calling earlier common sense or better sense about how to live, because it would be natural. It wouldn't have to be sorted out of all of the muck and mire that we find ourselves in, because our people have been subjected to so much poverty and shame and degradation and trouble, everything you can think of, and we've survived it. But we're not supposed to just survive it. We're supposed to rise above it. We're supposed to conquer it. We're supposed to remove it. We're supposed to be a powerful people. We're supposed to be the leaders of the earth. And because we haven't dealt with some of our own, a lot, I came into this way, it was everybody else's fault why we were in this condition. We can, as long as we can blame somebody else, we don't have to take responsibility for anything. Even the stuff that we have control over, we could figure out a way to blame the white man. We could figure out a way to blame the enemy. If we were poor, we hated rich black people. You couldn't even be bourgeois in Israel 50 years ago. That was a crime. Because we got so caught up in this mentality that they gave us and then we perpetuated. I say to you, shake that off. Stop saying that it's somebody else's fault. Because then you give yourself power. You give yourself control over your life. And you remove it from the person that you think is holding you back. When actually you're holding yourself back because you convince yourself you can't do better. That's what we want to remove. That's where we want to get in our nation, to the point where we take control of our lives, our destiny, our thinking, our purpose. That's what we're trying to get. I'm going to step down now, and I pray that the Creator will remember all of us in mercy and in favor. He will continue to comfort those who are still mourning, and that the family will receive that comfort, and that all of us will remember our sister and her works. And she did so many things that, again, everybody else has to step up. We all have to step up, and we have to continue her legacy and the things that even just, not just what she did here, but what she did for so many people. There's so many sisters in my community who knew her and sent their condolences, that just had a love for her and spoke to her and had a relationship with her, and they're all mourning for her. And the thing is that the Creator giveth and He taketh away. None of us stops the progress of the nation. It's not supposed to happen. Moses, as powerful as he was, didn't go into the land. Every leader that we had was there for a reason, for a purpose. Nobody lives forever. And what we have to understand is that we keep the ball moving forward. She took it to the 50-yard line. Somebody else got to take it to the 80 until we get that touchdown. And we got to keep starting and moving and progressing and getting all of this done, because Yah has put it in our will. He's put it in in the prophecy of our future. And all we have to do is figure out a way to execute it. And I pray that we all will work towards that goal. May Yah bless all of you, keep all of you. We'll continue to keep you in our prayers, and I thank you for your time and attention. Shabbat shalom.
Hallelujah. Praise Yah. We are about to get ready to close out. I wanted to make sure that, did you want to go back to the mic and, we have just a couple additional comments that we are going to make today before we go, and then we're going to sing a song. We are at some point, we know that this is Yah's Saturday. And we keep it focused on Yah, but as we keep it focused on Yah, we keep it focused on the great work things that Moses did, the things that David did, and also one of our the things that Maury Alicia did, and the good things that the servants do to help us stay on the path and the things that we could, that we will always keep close to our heart. So the brother, we at some time are going to have a class gathering, but the brother who is from out of town wanted to say something. And Morey Kilai wanted to say something, and I want to ask Morey Shai if he wanted to say something as well. He just came through. we had planned and they wanted to get together, but we didn't get a chance to, work everything out, but we want to just give a few people an opportunity to say something if they want. Okay, brother, go ahead.
Shabbat Shalom. Well, I met you all back in, I believe it was 2003. And when I came around, Hilkiah was one of the sisters who reached out and made me and my family feel comfortable with open arms. And at that time, during that season, her and at that time, her husband, Michael, were in the season of being vegetarians. I haven't eaten meat in about 9 years, and she, Hilkiah, is the one who got me started on this journey, believe it or not. And I'm a vegetarian to this day because of me and her incessantly talking, and at the time that she was going through, warning me about the meat. So I'll always have that part of my heart, and the help that I have right now, the knowledge I have as far as nutrition, I owe big time to her. Also, I think KK was up there. She was speaking about, and Sister Lena, about how Hilkiah, Sister Hill, was always organized so well. And I remember when they put together the surprise baby shower, which ended up turning into almost like a conference. I think 85 to 90% of the class came, and she put it together. And I'll never forget that. And I told my daughter, I always remind her, I said, you probably about the most blessed Israelite daughter, because everybody came to the hospital and prayed over you and blessed you, the Moray and Voice of Zion, all the sisters, all the brothers, some of the people I hold closest to my heart. And that was her putting that together, and I appreciate that as well. Not many people know that I'm probably, like different facets of you, different parts of me, whether it be the business part of me, the former street part of me. A lot of y'all don't know, I'm probably about the goofiest person in Israel. And maybe, let me see, I'm not gonna, Brother Yeshashikar, Dawi, Sister Lena, Sister Hilkiah definitely knew that I was really goofy. And y'all know, when these few people know that when y'all see the phone ring and it's me, y'all probably about to, if y'all not prepared to laugh, then y'all gonna push ignore. And we spoke for a couple hours. I believe it was either April 30th or May the 1st, the last time. And we spoke at length. Brother Keliah, she leaned on me very heavily to converse with you about a couple different things. We spoke, like I told you, at length once every couple weeks. And she's always saying, you and Keliah, y'all talk so much like y'all got the same spirit. You gotta talk to him, you gotta talk to him, you gotta talk to him. I promise you, brother, whenever you're ready, we're gonna talk and we're gonna discuss all these things. And I'm always love Hill, that part of her spirit that's bonded with me, that part of love, humor, that laugh that we all know. A lot of y'all don't know, I'm 3 hours north. We all know Ohio, but I always pick with her. I'm going to share this with y'all about, I don't think y'all know that Cincinnati, y'all have a little bit of an accent to us. Y'all kind of elongate y'all words. I think it's cute.
Y'all say we country.
Y'all live country. And she was the epitome of that. And I'm always, I kind of pick with her about it a whole lot. But, I love your sister, bro. I love you as well. She's always going to be part of my heart. And believe it or not, a lot of what makes me me today is, was embedded by her. Praise God.
There we are. You can come up if you want to. Okay.
Hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah. Shabbat Shalom to the fam here. I just want to thank you, my brother. I want to thank Keliah. I want to thank the family over here at the House of Israel 1664, because yesterday was monumental. It was monumental because the scriptures say how good and pleasant it is for brothers to dwell together in unity. And oftentimes people look at death as real bad, but that brought us together once again. And there's a lot of things that's going to bring us together. And nothing brings us together more than tragedy or things that hurt and things that we see as bad. We lost a lot of people, and these souls was here for a reason, but these souls continue to bring us together. We see leaders here. This is how you can tell this soul was very honorable. You see the various leaders come from all over the country just to honor and pay their respects. But really, they not just honoring her, paying their respects to the family who they love dearly, but they're uniting with their family abroad. This brings us closer together. And so I thank you all. I thank the souls that the Creator put here. This story hadn't been written. We know the story of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We know the story of Moses. We know the story of our foreparents. But our story will be told. And I already know, make no mistake about it, her story will be told. We're going to make sure of that. Hallelujah.
Brother Prince is also here from Philadelphia. He came down to also join in us with our morning. Would you like to say something, brother?
May the Most High be praised.
Hallelujah.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
You know, I thought about the sister quite a bit. And some may say that I'm wrong, but I think she might have been the first Morah in Israel with the title Morah that I can remember. When I spoke her name, I always called her Morah prior to speaking her name. I asked at another opportunity that I had where I spoke with some of the family. The sister was a great teacher. She did a lot of things, but what was her legacy? That was a question that I asked, because we all have to leave a legacy behind. But after my brother, Yeshaya, just got up and spoke, where you go? The other one. That one. When he got up and spoke about how she affected his life. See, that's our legacy. It's going to live on in the life of all of us. All the ones that she's affected, that we had the opportunity to hear her message and it change our behavior and our actions, that's her legacy. And the Most High is going to always remember her and hold her dear for that, for the help and support that she gave to the family of the house of Israel. So
like I said, for us here in Cincinnati, this will be a topic for us for a while, because we have this legacy will live on, so we'll give everybody else a chance, and we as a family will continue to have these discussions, because it's all about the works, just like we talk about Moses, right? Just like we talk about the works of King David, we will continue to talk about the righteousness that came, through that sister. And Elder Doc, I think you wanted to say something. And I know everybody else. Is there anybody else because we got more Reiki Live is going to have the last comment, but I want to, if anybody else from out of town or anybody just need to say something today, you can. I mean, Sabbath ain't over. This is, our time.
Shabbat shalom, family. I want to do two things here. I want to talk about Hill and the laugh. She lived around the corner from me. So we would have situations that came up, like when I first came to this class, I thought it was an all men thing. I don't want to do that. So I get my hair done right next to where she worked. So I go to get my hair done, and I see her outside with the children. So I go over to the fence, Shalom. She said, Shalom, how you, elder? So I tell her, I said, I don't know if I can do this because all y'all doing is men. I'm not on that. She said, oh no, elder. So she started talking to me about the women in the Bible, okay? So I said, I've been here ever since, every Sabbath. The last conversation we had, she came over to show me her new car. And that she had purchased the new car because the old car, things were happening. Parts was falling off, so she went and got a new car. So in the process of her getting a new car, the car that she left, somebody bought, and she see them passing her every day. She's paying a car note. So we're outside my house because I had the same experience. And she said, I should have asked you. I know that's right. But this is what I want to say to the families. Everybody grieves in their own way. And as a family, we have to be patient and tolerant with each other. We cannot decide to get angry with each other because of the way that person is grieving the loss. We have to show love, patience, and tolerance with each other. And it's not just for the next week. It's until everybody in the family has dealt with their grief, and it can take a while. But grief and loss is those emotions that take a long time for people to deal with. And at the same time, we have to know that that sister was all the bag of chips and that, okay? That's all I'm saying. So just know, when you need to talk, do that. Find somebody to talk to. But you need to know that love conquers all of it. Okay? Hallelujah.
Anybody else before we begin to close out? Go ahead, King. We got our children coming down too.
I already said what I had to say about my regular Kaya. But I just wanted to comment on what the brother was talking about us being able to control our spirits and let Yahweh be glorified through my mouth and let everything I'm saying be acceptable in His sight. Ultimately, the Creator wants us to be meek and humble. And that was the last thing I said to Morai Lakaya. And the thing that was just so instrumental about this piece of paper and the lesson that he gave is that that's the main problem that we struggle with as a people. Our wants, our lusts, our desires, it really means nothing. The thing that we should be desiring the most is for us to return back to the Almighty and let Him be our King once again. And let Him rule over us and not our own hearts. The blessing that was bestowed on Jacob was a powerful blessing that poured over into his children. Started with Abraham, went to Isaac, and was confirmed through Jacob. But that blessing was as a prince. And that's key. Because before he wrestled that angel, he didn't know himself. But we know the Most High, He make His angels spirits and His ministers a flame of fire. But when He gave Jacob that blessing, at that moment he was familiar with who he truly was. And that's what the laws of the Creator do for us. As the sister had brought out, the fear of Yahweh and to keep His commandments, this is the whole duty of man. So anything outside of that, it becomes our own lust. It becomes our own wickedness eventually. And what the Moreh was talking about, how David was punished for sleeping with Bathsheba. The ultimate punishment, that wickedness that was in David, the curse that was put upon him was so heavy. The swore was to never leave his house, to never depart his house. He lost his sons. He lost the son that he was supposed to have. But after that, he became that perfect king. And that's just a lesson for us to take in mind. Because like what was said, we are not tested because of our own goodness. We are tested because of the evil that is within us, that needs to be eliminated and eradicated. And that's what makes you a prince over powers. That's what makes you a prince that has prevailed. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is to look in the man in the mirror and realize that our lusts and our desires, everything that we have, Yahweh can shatter. Yahweh will shatter. So Yahweh said he was going to take us through the fire, and he was going to plead with us face to face as he did with our fathers in the wilderness. And that's what we headed toward. That's what the remnant is headed towards, whether you know it or not. But that's what the Most High had to do. And back then when we was in the wilderness, we complained, we lusted for meat, we lusted for everything. Because we wasn't pure. We was not meek, we was not humble. And we tried to blame Moses and Aaron for everything. We tried to blame them. We always looking for somebody else to blame instead of looking at what we doing. We have self-destructive patterns within us. And that's what's destroying us. It's your own heart. It's your own lust. And that's what's going to continue to destroy us. And until we be able to face what it is inside of us, and to be able to come back truly and return back to the Creator and get all that gunk from out of us, we're going to continue to have problems. And I'm saying that not only to myself, because I have many sins, but I'm saying that to us as a people, because we are great people. But we're not better than our forefathers, and that's something we got to remember. We're not better than them, but we have an opportunity to be better than them while we in the land of the living. So I'm saying let's make a change. And that's all I got to say. Hallelujah. I don't need no applause, I don't need no clap. I would rather y'all, after this, take exactly what everything y'all heard today. Take everything that y'all heard today. Don't just let it go out one ear and out the other. Sincerely make a change. Learn what it is to make a vow before the Creator. Learn what it is to really, truly change your life around. Because you are that prince. But until you learn how to control your spirit and go back to those laws and statutes, you are barbaric. You are an animal.
Hallelujah. And in our earlier discussions, this is what we talked about how the law of Yah, it changes you, right? It converts the soul. So that old you, the old person that you were, that old common man, you're not common like everybody else. You now have to rise to the excellence that the Almighty, and the excellent standards that the Almighty want us to rise to. Yes, ma'am.
Shabbat shalom. I want to give our honor and glory to the Almighty by saying hallelujah. Mora Hezekiah, she affected me in ways that people may not have realized, even though we didn't talk on a regular, but I still watched her and I still learned and I still picked up on what she was doing because she led by an example. It's like a child look up to an adult. I am still a child and I looked up to her. I remember when she first started talking about having the Unity Shabbat. You know, the first time we had the Unity Shabbat, it was so beautiful.
It was her idea.
Exactly.
To have the Unity lunch.
Yeah, because I remember we had the conversation together, and I was like, yeah, no, that's a really good idea, you know. So that's how the Unity Shabbat came about. Because prior, everybody just brought their own lunches, and everybody ate with their family, quote unquote, and it didn't feel unified, you know. And after the Unity Shabbats, everybody started, it started feeling like a whole family. We started feeling like a unit. And then it went from just once a month to every week now, to now Yahweh blessed it to where we have food every week. And now we all can eat every week as a family. Because prior to that, it was if you didn't bring the lunch, you was just gonna be hungry, you know. And now we have lunch and we have food. And Mariah Hilkiah opened up that door to start having it more unified, not just here, but outside of class too. And even though I've known the Almighty all my life, I haven't known him this close until I started learning from her how to love him and how to get to know him. Listening to her teach really opened my eyes in ways that it hasn't been opened before. And I started to appreciate the word of the Almighty and started to appreciate the love and everything that Yahweh gave to us. And I started to develop my own relationship with the Almighty just by watching her. So I just want to thank the Almighty for blessing us to have her in our presence, for blessing her to be able to speak the words that he gave her, to be able to affect everybody in this room in a positive manner. And thank the Almighty for him taking her back home and still having us go forward in a positive manner and continue to go forward with peace and with love and with positivity. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Praise Almighty Yah, and we're going to wrap up there because the sisters want to do something and everybody will have a chance to come back together at that time. The sisterhood has something that they want to put on, so we'll kind of continue this there, but yes sir, we'll go with the elder. He's from out of town and he'll be our last, yeah.
Look, y'all, all praise to the great and almighty Israel. I'm here because of Sister Alcalia. Yes, 3 times. Our spirit, she touched my spirit. Is what brought me here. To hear the understanding and what happened to her, it really took me down. And I had to come and give thanks and praise before her, to the Creator before her. I'm really grateful for a spirit like that. And may her family be at peace and rest. May the congregation be at peace and rest. Because she was a wonderful spirit. All praise to the great and almighty.
Hallelujah. And praise God. And one other thing that I want to say, and then I'll turn it over to Morey Kilaya, but one other thing that I wanted to say is that I think that we still have to make sure that we strive to take care of us and love us that are still living. You know, start loving your neighbor as you love yourself. Because then when that soul is gone, then you're going to be boo-hooing, and why didn't I do this? No, we can do that right now. And I also want to tell y'all that Morey Dan is deeply affected over this situation as well. So he needs visitors. If anybody can visit him, you know, the more people he sees, we don't want him to think that because he's ill. And we're going to try to make some attempts. We just got some things going. We can probably try to start getting him here at some points. But we want to make sure that we all try to make an effort to visit him as well. Because he's also deeply affected, but he's also there alone by himself. So if you all can keep that in mind. And last, but not least, I want to allow Morey Kilaya, who is a brother of Sister Hilkiah, to share
the song. All right. I just wanted to take this moment first off to say hallelujah. I turn this mic over for me, brother. And first, I want to thank the family, all of you all. I know that I got a lot of calls and texts, and I just wasn't answering the phone. One of the sisters, she got hit to it, and she started sending these one little nuggets through, which actually got through. So, I learned a great deal being an Israelite. I took this a lot more difficult than I did with my father. My father, me and my father, we weren't as close as me and my sister. I brought my sister into the knowledge. We were living in the same house, and she was a stout Christian. And, but me and all, the brothers from dance class, when we first got down with the truth, it was a hard fight, as I mentioned yesterday. But Hill was one of these people, when she hit that curve, she became that hot, cold sister. That hot, cold sister to where we had those tit for tats, to where it became total respect. total love when she started serving Yahweh. You know, I didn't find out until she was gone, you know, how much respect that I subconsciously had for my sister. And it came from a lot of conversations I had with other people. And that was because, you know, she knew how to check you with those scriptures. You know, she knew how to, she had the best poker face that anybody could ever meet as an Israelite. Because she didn't get along with everybody, but the people she didn't get along with, you would never know. Some of us might, but you wouldn't. Because she recognized that yesterday was going to come, and it's best to be on your best behavior. Because what Yahweh is going to judge in the end is not your heart. It's going to be them works. And those works are output from the law. So the law is just a framework for your behavior. Your behavior is the third step to your reality. Or shall I say the fourth? Once you start figuring out the actions you're doing, what's going to come back to serve you, good or bad, or in the end, if you don't get that servitude, in the end, it'll be your judgment. That's what you live with. You made that plate. And so, you know, I just learned a lot from my sister. She knew how to do that check in there. And many of you all benefited from that relationship. Not me and her, but the relationship that we all collectively had serving Yah. And so I want to thank you all for your calls. I want to thank you all for your cars, for your pieces of money, for, you know, just everything that you all as Israelites have done. This is the first big experience I've had as an Israelite. And I'm going to tell you right now, I learned a whole lot. The first thing I did when she passed, I just started praying to Yahweh to give her peace. I totally understood why we had to get rid of witches and sorcerers and necromancers. I understood why it's wise for us to get a parcel of land we could bury our own and keep an eye over our bones of our people. Because a diabolical witch or somebody that don't know Yah may go out there and get into some goofy actions, and then our loved ones are being disturbed. All because we here. So there's some things I learned that shook me greatly that I think that we as a people need to start looking at, just to make sure that we follow the ways of our people. Because even in Canaan, when Abraham went there, he purchased a parcel. Joseph didn't let his father stay in Egypt. He took him back there. So we as a people got to start looking at some things for ourselves, making sure we cut us a piece of land somewhere, maybe locally, and it might have to be, you know, for all of us to make sure that our families throughout the country have that, just so we can protect our own. Because I saw some things in depth that I'd never seen before while my loved ones was alive. You know, and so I just want to thank Yahweh for the things he's shown me. Job, when Job had those his friends there, they said a few days without saying anything. This is what, and once you understand why they were there, they just had to be in his presence during that time. He lost all his children. I just lost a sister, but I immediately saw the benefit of having your brothers, your brethren, or anyone that you have a good relationship with, comfortable enough to be around you for a period of time and just be there with you. It was my brothers back in Lincoln Heights, they were there. I praise Yahweh. They don't come, y'all don't know none of these Israelites. And they were there. And I mean, it was love and it was pain, but these brothers, y'all don't see them, but they know Yah, and they got that spirit, and they knew how to cut right in me to keep everything cool. So I want to thank the Most High. Brother Cushai, Brother Rashem, he comes here. Brother Dan, son T was there. Brother Josiah, was a lot of brothers. And I just want to thank Yah for these brothers. They still Israel. They still know how to come in and break peace with you to make sure that you're comforted during these times. And I just, you know, when the time is right, I'm going to share a class with you all to let you know the things I saw during this time of loss. Because it was something I never in a million years would have seen during the living. Or should I say when my sister was alive, or until I had this type of loss. Because there were things that I did not want to happen, things I didn't understand, but the law was there to bring clarity. So I definitely want to thank you all so much, because your prayers, the spirit of Yah, I felt it. His word comforted me, and it was me being able to see his word because your prayers went up. Yah had a date for his daughter. I'm my sister. All I can tell you all is whoever you have a relationship with, figure out how to break that bad out and get as much time to show some love so that you can garner a good relationship, because they don't belong to us. When y'all call them, all we can do is say thank you, Yah, for that vessel and keep it moving, because life is going to go on. So praise Yah for you all. I love you all for the many messages I got. If I didn't pick up the phone when you called, just know that I felt it. And, you know, for my brother, you know, we're going to get together. I'm sorry, like I said, I wasn't answering the phone for really anybody. I got a call one time, a brother I probably talked to him 15 years. Hey, man, it's such and such. I want to just give my condolences. And it was just so awkward. So I just want to thank you all. I want to thank the mighty Yah for allowing me to come into a knowledge that gives me peace and comfort. This time 30 years ago, I was in the same exact situation, and I remember sitting at that church just asking, why? And this day when it happened, it was a great comfort because I understood 30 years later why. So I want to thank Yahweh, I want to thank you all, and I pray that the Almighty be with you because we all are going to experience something like this, and we all need to be there for one another in some type of capacity, even if just to be there, just to be around. You ain't got to really say too much, just be there for them. You understand? So I just want to thank you all, and I want to praise the mighty Yah. Praise the mighty Yah for all of you all. You are our family. My name is Mr. Glad, because I came to Israel, and I understood the power of that name when I saw it these past 2 weeks. Praise God.
We got a quick just presentation for our children. You want to get ready?
Come on, children, with all your smiles. Let's show the adults how responsible we were today. So we're gonna make it quick, leave it. So, what scripture did we go over today?
Psalms 117.
Okay, and what is the first word?
Oh, praise ye Yahweh.
Okay. So today we learned what it means to praise. Right? We memorized it, right? Oh, praise ye Yahweh what? Who?
All ye nations.
Who?
Praise all ye people.
So we learned that who we pray to, which is Yahweh. We learned who all gonna pray to Yahweh, which is all ye nations, all ye people. What was the next part? For his what?
Merciful kindness.
Is what? I can't ask you because you know it's a heart already. His merciful kindness is what?
Endures forever.
No, his merciful kindness. So we talked about mercy, right? We all gave examples of how Yahweh was merciful in our lives. And we talked about what it means to show mercy. We memorized the scripture. Oh, praise ye Yahweh for all ye nations. Praise him all ye people for his merciful kindness.
Is great towards us.
His merciful kindness is great towards us. And the truth in Yah.
Endure.
Endure how long?
Forever.
All right, so let's say it together, y'all. Oh, praise ye Yahweh for all ye nations. Praise him all ye people for his merciful kindness is great towards us. And the truth of Yah endure forever. Hallelujah. Praise Yah.
All right. So before we leave out, we have we're going to just do a family song together, a couple family songs. What's our anthem?
Yah's King.
All right, let's get it. You notice what she's doing first? And we need help too. Let's do this as a family. Any of the singers, choir, people want to come up and help?
Really, Jesse? Really, Jayla? Come on. Y'all was the original vibes. Get up, Jayla.
Oh, she sure was. Her answer.
Matter of fact, Ishaya is the reason why we sing. He told on us. We was just trying not to kill Brother Levi in the car. We went on a road trip and we was just trying not to kill Brother Levi. So we start singing in the car. Next thing you know, Maria Alicia come in class talking about, I heard some sisters in here that know how to sing. And I'm sitting there looking like, you ain't talking about me. I never sing around nobody. What are you talking about?
I remember when y'all first got up there too.
I said, who did it? You hear me always try it. Oh, sister, I'm so sorry. I had to let everybody know that you know to sing. And I was so scared. This is for y'all youngins that's in the crowd that have voices. I was so scared. Yes. They have voices. We not gonna live forever. Somebody gotta learn these songs. Somebody got to execute them. When I first started singing, I used to sing like this, with my back holding their hands because I was so scared. And then I finally was able to let their hand go. I was able to turn around and I was able to inch out. Don't be afraid. Most High gives us these gifts so that we can use them to empower his people. And you can't sit with a gift that the Most High has given you and not use it. Morai KK talked about purpose. Your gifts, the scripture says that a gift sets a man amongst kings and makes room for him. Let those gifts that the Most High has given you, whether it's writing to him, writing so you can turn those into songs, those poems you wrote to the Most High, you can turn them into songs. You know how to beat on something, young men, turn them into beats. You know how to sing, sing. You ain't got to know how to, and we ain't asking for a whole bunch of Sister Sarahs. But come up here and do some leaners. Let your nose crack and get the notes out.
What song you doing? What song you doing?
I don't know, whatever they just play on. Just Trust? Oh! The Rock!
California!
Oh, I always do. Yeah. You get down here. Get down here. Oh yeah, you tripping too, coming up all late.
I was getting late.
Oh, okay. All right, you
That
guys
was
see.
me on the camera too. I got 2 jobs. It's ya.
Just trust me.
So I gotta do both? Well, if Isha gonna come up here, then we might as well do praise Yah. Anybody got that?
Acapella.
Nah, we need that beat. Okay, Just Trust, go ahead, push it. Somebody look for praise Yah. Let's say, come on, turn the music up and the mic a little down. If you just, yeah. A wise man once told me, trust in Yah with all your heart, and your prayers he will give them. Oh, how I was downtrodden, your fire and trouble with the fainted heart, and so low in my spirit. But I know someone who is gonna walk with you. Open up your gates and let them come on through. Oh, yeah. Trust in Yah and he will walk with you. If you just trust in Yah and he will walk with you. Trust in Yah and he will be with you. If you just trust in Yah and watch it see you through. So many trials we face in our time on this earth, but my shield and my buckler strengthens me to go further. I commit myself to delight in the Father's will. I step out all alone, but my faith is strong, and I know someone Yah and watch Him pull you through. If you just trust in Yah and watch Him pull you through. If you just trust in Yah and watch Him pull you through. If you just trust in Yah and watch Him pull you through. I know someone who's gonna walk with you. Open up your gates and let Him come on through. I thought he found Praise Yah. You do? You got it? Put that out.
Praise Yah. Oh, y'all know this is how we praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. So, Yah's testimony sure make it wise and simple. Yah's statutes are right, rejoice in our heart. Yah's commandment is pure, enlightened in the eyes. The fear of Yah's clean, enduring forever. The judgments of Yah are true, and righteous all together. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. First and foremost, all praise to Yah, creator of the heavens, earth, and sea, and all that in and be. Sworn is reviled, Yah's bids for Yah is our life fix. Let me tell you who He is, the Almighty El Shaddai, He who sits on high. El Elyon, the Most High, Elohim Shammah, Yisrael, Yahweh, Eloheinu, Yahweh, Yahweh. To glorify Yah, that is my job. Yah is one, arm, leg, arm, head is done. JC, not on the drum, so we mad for one. Our people calling on these blind, deaf, and dumb. They use what they call image, the rest is for the heat. Why my people so blind that they can't see what's right under their feet? Clear rags and concrete. I'm a hunter for the lost sheep. Sending ducks, tell a lie for the most high God. Yah's testimony sure, make it wise and simple. Yah's statutes are right, rejoice in the heart. Yah's commandment is pure, enlightened in the eyes. The fear of Yah's clean, enduring forever. The judgments of Yah are true, and righteous all together. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Who is our King? Yah sent us into captivity for our iniquity. And who is our judge? Yah, He'll have mercy and compassion on me. Just love Him and praise Him dearly. Who is our lawgiver? Yah, that's the only one. No other. That's why I left the stone cutters. All of our lovers betrayed us. This is why it is Yah, and He will save us. No more following our lust. In Yah I trust. He made my bones rise from the dust. Breathe in me life. But my people hated truth, started living trite. Now we here as it is this day. Destroyed, our men lay slain in the streets. Our mothers praising images of clay. And now we need to turn to Yah. He put these crutches for a sign that wanted to be displayed. God's law is perfect, converting the soul. Yah's testimony sure, make it wise and simple. Yah's statutes are right, rejoice in our heart. Yah's commandment is pure, enlightened in the eyes. The fear of Yah's clean, enduring forever. The judgments of Yah are true, and righteous all together. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. All my people say, praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Yeah, all my people say, praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Yeah, praise the mighty, the holy, the only one. in the deep. Praise Yah, all his saints, children of Israel. Praise Yah, you lions. Praise Yah, all his people as we go to Zion. Come on, yeah, come, Tekalai, yo. All my people say, praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah. Yeah, all my people say, praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah. Yeah, all my people say, praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah. Yeah, Yah's law is perfect, converting the soul. Yah's testimony sure, making wise and simple. Yah's statutes upright, rejoice in the heart. Yah's commandment is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of Yah's clean, enduring forever. The judgments of Yah are true, and righteous all together. All my people say, praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah. Yeah, all my people say, praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah. Hallelujah.
All right. Let me catch my breath first. Come on. Yeah, hallelujah. That feels good. We ain't did that in a long time. Look. Whoa, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We say, come on now. Oh, I know you. Oh, let me hear you a little louder. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know you. No one reigns above.
No judge.
No one reigns. Now all together as a family, let me hear you say, God, He is King. I need them to hear us down on the corner right there at the church. Let them know what Hezekiah used to preach. Say, God, He is King. No one reigns above. One more time, one more time, say, God, He is King. And no one reigns above. Not no judge. No one reigns beside. This I know is God.
Hallelujah. Praise Almighty Yah. Zarak. They said the party ain't over till Zarak song. All right.
It's all right. I ain't got nowhere to go till tomorrow.
Yeah, some fun.
We are chosen by Yah.
Can't do that one. You got one day back there. Nice. You got it? If you got it, let's drop it. Let's make some noise. Yeah, run it back one time. Run it back. Yeah.
Brother Rock.
Hey! Yeah! One day. One day.
Hallelujah. You got another one? Huh? Do what? What you got back there?
All right, everybody. We are going to adjourn the class, but we're going to continue a little something later, which I'll talk about after we go off the internet, possibly. Praise the mighty Yah. I want to first thank the mighty Yah for all of our lives, for the lives of Shalom, y'all. We're about to adjourn, everybody. But first and foremost, like I said, I want to thank the Almighty for all of our lives. We want to thank the Almighty for the lives of Morai Hilkiah. We want to thank the Almighty for Moray Dan. We want to thank the Almighty for Moray Alicia, for all of our other fallen individuals that have helped to pave the way. I talked to the brother here, Brother Prince Nat, and they're doing some things. We all just going to start gathering ourselves together, man. We a family.
Hallelujah.
The Almighty said, you only have I known of all the families of the earth.
Hallelujah.
And it's time that we just really get together. This is some things I want to share with y'all, but we won't go into them tonight. But it's really time, man. It's really time. And with that being said, we want to start documenting some of the stuff of our leaders and our past leaders and some of the things that they got going on. We just a family, man. Let's cut out the hate. Let's start loving our neighbors as we love ourselves. And let's just make this a new day. We ain't got to go back 1,000 years on all the stuff we done been through. If we could just at some point just start over, reboot. You know what I mean? Try to reboot. But in any event, with that being said, let's stand. Shema! Shema! Yisrael! Yahweh! Yahweh! Eloheinu! Eloheinu! Yahweh! Yahweh! Akkad! Akkad! Hero Israel! Yahweh Elohim! Yahweh is one! May the mighty Yah bless thee! May the mighty Yah keep thee! May the mighty Yah make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee! May the mighty Yah lift up his countenance upon each and every one of you and give you peace. Also, may the name of the mighty Yah rest upon each and every one of you.